Let's see, go live. And welcome to Benchmonster TV.
I'm Ashley Lynn Condre.
And I am the Benchmonster. We have a guest tonight. We have Keith Odell on the show. That's why we're sitting so close right now, because we got to be really close together when we have guests on the show. So looking forward to talking to Keith, getting some questions answered that we ask all of our guests. They're fun, and we're going to get right to it. So I don't want to keep him waiting in the wings too long. I have a little intro here. I'm going to play a video of Keith doing an 870 bench, and I'll read you the intro, and let's get that started. Our guest tonight is Keith Odell. He has been competitive in powerlifting since 2001. That's 22 years. He's a 3-time Arnold Classic winner in 2020, no Arnold in 2021 because of COVID, a winner in 2022 and 2023, as well as the 2022 WPO Olympia champion. He has a 950 bench press and has benched 800 plus in meets over 15 times. Keith is a nutritionist and has competed in the 148 weight class all the way through the 242 weight class. And as we see here, Keith's putting up a 135 easy 870 bench. Without further ado, let's get Keith on here. Keith, welcome to the show.
Hello, Ryan.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate that. I'm 33 today. Oh,
you look great for 33.
Thank you.
Right. It's fantastic.
I wish. I'm trying to keep the wrinkles down and avoid tanning booths and things like that. I'm trying to maintain my beauty into my golden years. So
you're a better man than I am. I visit the tanning booth way too often.
Do you really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We got a free one in our gym. I don't mean to get off topic. We got questions to answer, but I go in there once in a blue moon, but I know they're cancerous and everything else. So, but it tans your skin really nicely compared to like having to go out in the sun. But we don't get a lot of sun around here till about May through September. So
yeah, we're about the same.
Ashley, you're here. You need to ask Keith the questions that you
ready?
Yeah.
Ready for questions?
Yeah.
Just break right in.
Break right in.
All right.
Make sure he can understand you. Do you want to blow your nose or anything? You got to sniffle?
Use his sleeve.
Sleeve?
He doesn't wear a sleeve.
I don't
He
wear
doesn't
sleeves.
have, I know. I was like, wait.
Put it on the bicep.
Right on the bicep. All right. When and how did you get into weightlifting in general? And how did you get introduced into powerlifting?
All right. So, crazy story. When I was very young, like kindergarten, pre-first, my father and my uncle used to lift 4 days a week at my house. And I remember every day I came home from either preschool or the babysitter, and I would come home to them lifting. And I loved it so much. And they used to try to slow me down. And they, had the Joe Weiderman bench and the fly machine, like all the great stuff. Right. And I used to take small dumbbells and plates and like do shoulder presses with me. As much as they tried to stop me, like they couldn't. My father used to have to take the bar with him or lock it in the shed because while he would leave, I would try to put weight on it and lift. And I mean, I was 4 or 5, 6 years old, and wow. I was obsessed. The movie Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
I watched that movie like kids watch like Care Bears and things like that when I was younger. I watched that movie like 3 or 4 times every day. I loved Arnold and his muscular thing, and I was so into it at so young. Like it was in the family. I want to be like my father and my uncle. Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. That's super young start. That's
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, did you play any sports in high school? If so, which ones?
So I did a lot of sports in school. I started with hockey when I was really young, but when I got up to high school, I really fell in love with track and field. Track and field made my life change. One, because of my coach, and 2, because I was pretty wild. Now I didn't get in trouble per se, drugs or stealing or fighting. I just a lot of energy, talked a lot, talked back, and getting into track and field, I had horrible grades. I mean, horrible grades. And when I got into track and field, you know, back then we didn't know what ADHD was, but that's definitely what it was. And getting into track, having a great coach, burning off that energy, having like a schedule of things to do after school, it put me in such a good place. I remember walking, the first time I hit honor roll, I remember walking in, they had an ice cream party for everything. I remember my teachers being like, what are you doing here? You know? And so sports, you know, track and field, I ended up doing really well. State ranked, you know, there's still school records that my brother and I hold. You know,
cool.
the other thing that happened with track and field though, my brother, he's 3 years older than me. He's 6'3", right? Very athletic, born with a lot of great genetics. I got the shallow end of that. And, you know, my brother could sit home on the couch and he could watch TV and go jump 44 foot and triple jump or run the 100 and, you know, 10-9. I had to work my ass off. And it's really one of the best things that happened to me because, you know, when I was 14, I figured out, you know, that you don't have to have the genetics. You can work really hard and get to places. And so really, I mean, high school sports really helped me develop a lot into, you know, what I do now with business and work and lifting in general.
Okay. Very cool. That's cool. Kind of took it in a different direction from track and field to lifting. Do you, like, this wasn't one of the questions on there, but do you do cardio to this? Like, do you still do any running, or have you completely?
Okay, so that's awesome. All right, they say the nutritional side and like the side of me that really gets into the depth of thing. I don't do cardio. I was doing triathlons for a while, right? But I have a lot of trouble. I have trouble keeping weight on. So I'm originally, like, my first powerlifting meet, I weighed in 142 pounds.
Holy shit.
So I was doing triathlons because, again, I love the track thing. You know, the swim, the bike, the run was great, and I figured, you know, that I'm getting off track here, but
it's totally fine.
Going from that into this, the cardio, you bounce, like running, you lose muscle, and biking is cool, but as a guy, like, it hurts.
Yeah.
And so Stan Efferding talked a lot about doing these like 10-minute walks, right? And when you read anything, it says everybody should do about 60 minutes of cardio a day. And who the hell can honestly, on top of lifting and life and all this stuff going on, who can walk or run or jog for an hour a day? It's like, it's tough. You either got to get it right. Ashley, you just got home from work and like things are crazy. And so, but what I figured out is that I have 15 minutes available 4 times a day consistently, right? So what I do, basically, I typically eat about 4 larger meals a day. And after those meals, I'll jump on the phone, business calls, whatever I'm doing, and I'll walk for 15 minutes. That's your hour of cardio. And whatever you read about cardio is like, you know, your heart rate should be elevated to this or that or so on and so forth. Getting up and moving at a semi-solid pace for 15 minutes 4 times a day or 10 minutes 6 times a day, it is sufficient enough to keep you really healthy. And my blood work will show that.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
That's a good way to break it down. Because, like you said, an hour a day is hard to find, but 15 minutes a few times a day is much more doable. All right. Very cool. How much did you squat, bench, and deadlift in high school as a freshman and then as a senior?
So in the middle of track and field, when I was putting on muscle, so the coach I was talking about, Kevin, he actually just passed away from Alzheimer's. Crazy story. The guy was in such good shape his entire life. He retires, gets Alzheimer's, and is, you know, down and out. But this guy, he was such a great mentor. He used to pick me up in front of my house at 5:30 in the morning. We would go to the gym and work out for an hour before school. And we did that all through summer and all through winter. And so coming into track season, I remember the first time I tried to deadlift, man, 225 felt like 1 billion pounds. But I remember I benched 300, I pulled 400, and we didn't squat. We did leg press. You know, that just wasn't part of our our deal. But yeah, a 400-pound deadlift
Wow.
and a 300-pound bench. Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
That's way more than I
It's a
did in
good
high
start.
school.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say that's a pretty good start in high school. Well, there you were. How much did you weigh in high school?
So in high school, prime time with the training and stuff I was doing, with the lack of a ton of cardio, mostly doing sprints and the weight training things, I was like 155.
Okay.
And yeah, that's about as heavy as I could get myself. Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy. When was your first meet? How much did you squat, bench, or deadlift? If you did all three, I guess I should have asked.
Yeah, I did all three.
Okay.
I was very light at the time. I was doing triathlons. I lived in Rhode Island, and I traveled all the way back up to New York State, where I'm originally from. I weighed 142 pounds. I squat 295. I benched 285, and I deadlift 405. And that's actually that first meet is where I met the Gorilla Pack in Rich Putnam, about 22 years ago.
Oh,
Holy
wow.
crap.
Yeah, and we've
crazy.
been training together, minus a couple years here and there, but we've been training together ever since. And
Wow.
so yeah.
She's been doing it for a little bit together. That's cool.
Yeah,
It's cool
long
to
time.
have those lifelong friends that you meet through those.
22 years, yeah.
What is your training split? Like, what days do you do what lifts? Like, do you speed squat? Which day speed bench, max, however you organize it. Maybe you don't do the speed stuff, but
Yep, absolutely. So we do back, biceps, and shoulders Monday.
okay.
Typically takes an hour and a half to 2 hours with the group that we have. Wednesday we do an accessory bench press day.
Okay.
Every other Thursday at my house, I have a home gym too, because we lift at Richie's place. And me and Rich live literally like a mile and a half apart.
Oh,
Um, every other Thursday, I'll squat very light and deadlift, to release the hormones from, the center core. And then Sunday is our big bench day. That's our heavy bench day, whether if it's, raw boards or putting gear on, that's our day. Yep.
Okay.
So 3 days 1 week, 4 days every other week.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'm going to save my questions for the end.
Oh, do a quick.
They're in my mind as we go
Oh,
along.
they're different than-
Yeah. No, I'm just training
do you have
questions.
questions?
Yeah.
Okay. What type of music? This is kind of a random one, but he always likes to ask it. What type of music do you listen to when you train?
Slipknot. So I have been Slipknot there is something about Corey Taylor and his voice and the music. If they're within a 300-mile radius, I'm at their concert. I never liked heavy metal. I actually would prefer to not listen to it. There is something with Slipknot that they'll give me goosebumps. Like I can feel it to the core when I'm at the gym. And one of the songs that one of our lifters, Davey, he's got this Slipknot playlist, and it's amazing. But Slipknot is I could play their stuff on repeat for 24 hours and still be in love with every song.
Never get sick of it. Yeah.
Never get sick.
That's your jam. All right. That's a good thing. I mean, that's like
I want to try that in
perfect.
our training because I know we do a lot of Metallica radio and that's a variety of stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm going to do a Slipknot radio.
Should be a good one. Good energy. Good. Yeah.
If all their songs are pretty good, so
Yeah.
I mean,
Amazing.
can't
Yeah,
go
I
wrong.
mean, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. It's always a random question. He is always curious about this one also. Do you use pre-workout? If so, which one?
So I don't have any caffeine in my diet.
Oh wow. Okay.
It sounds crazy, and so all right, I do have caffeine, but let me explain. I don't have the very heavy stimulating caffeine. So there's different types of caffeine that get in your system. So when you drink a cup of coffee, your all of your blood vessels tighten. Okay, you get a spike of energy, blood pressure goes up, and then you come back down,
Okay.
right? So people who are drinking coffee are always up and down, up and down, up and down. I like green tea. So green tea is a vasodilator. So green tea makes your blood vessels open. It relaxes you, but it gives you energy. Also has polyphenols, which is really good for your immune system. So it has a third the amount of caffeine, but it lasts like 4 times longer, right?
Oh.
So if you drink 3 or 4 cups of green tea a day, the entire day you feel really well. Now, you guys have been around me a little bit. The first thing with me, I'm never in a bad mood, right? Like I'm always excited, happy. If somebody pisses me off, they'll know about it and I go back to normal, right? I'm always in a good mood, having fun, bouncing off the walls, lots of energy. I go to bed with energy, wake up with energy. And I really, a lot of that has to do with the no sugar, no caffeine. And so for pre-workout, what I do green tea and I do beta alanine, which is what gives you the tingles,
Yep.
the amino acid, the tingles. Yeah. And so that's my pre-workout. If you need pre-workout to get yourself amped up to go to the gym, you're probably doing something wrong. You know what I
agree
mean?
with you.
Your diet's either wrong or you're not mentally ready for what you're about to do.
Okay. All right.
Any green tea like you'd find at Walmart would work, or is there a specific green tea that you recommend?
So anything with no sugar, so pure green tea, man. So I'll make my own with the bags. Pure Leaf does a pure green tea. I don't do any honey in it because this is a little bit deeper conversation, but 90% of the honey is fake that's out there, right? That's on the shelf. Yep. We can get into that later on. But so anything that's pure green tea, like just the green tea bag in the water, I like to do a little bit of cinnamon or lemon or lime. But I love it. I mean, it makes you feel great. So I've got about, depends on what month it is, but somewhere between 70 to 100 sales reps that work under me for my job. And anytime someone's having issues, I try to switch them in general, life issues in general. The first thing I talk to them about is how many cups of coffee do you drink a day? There's been a few people off the top of my head I could tell you that literally changed their life from going to coffee to green tea.
Really?
Yeah,
is that significant?
Crazy difference.
I know people that drink 2-3 energy drinks a day, which is horrible. Yeah,
I've never had an energy drink.
Don't try them.
I've never been drunk. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. I don't have caffeine in my system. The crazy thing is, people are like, "Well, that's no fun." No, I have fun all the time because I feel good all the time.
Right.
You guys need to go. Drink a bottle of Jack to feel good. I don't need that. Like, I'll have more fun than you when you're drunk, and the next morning I feel better than you.
That's true.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
All right.
Is the green tea served hot or cold? Does it matter?
Oh, that's a good question.
I like it cold.
Okay.
Yeah. If I go to Panera, Panera Bread is my stop. I don't eat out a lot, but if I stop somewhere, it's typically Panera Bread, and I'll get hot green tea from there. But typically, I either have cold at the house or I'll get the bottled to cold. But yep,
okay,
it's easier for me, but it's all the same.
Well, that's definitely something I'm going to try, the green tea, because
I like it.
I don't do energy drinks that much, but try something different and see how I feel. Since I cut sugars out of my diet this past week, so trying to cut some body weight. So
time to try it, bro. Green tea.
Yeah, and I mean, even the green tea, that'll help with your insulin levels too, because people crave sugar because our insulin levels are off because of some of the things that we put in our body, right? There's specific things you put into your body that makes insulin spike. Insulin goes up and you need sugar to bring that down, and your body's like, I want this. Being tired at 2:00 in the afternoon, either coming down from caffeine or an insulin thing or a testosterone thing, right? So by switching, if you just pretty much put in a ball, if you stop consuming a ton of sugar and the wrong type of oils, cooking oils, and switch from coffee to green tea, you're literally a different person. Like, you're a different human being.
Right.
Sure. And green tea doesn't affect your ability to go to sleep if you have it in the afternoon?
Zero. It helps you. It's crazy. It'll actually help you sleep.
Cool.
Really?
I think the green tea at the store that I was recommended was the Sleepy Bear one. He's got like it's a bear with a hat on. It's like, I thought that's what they said.
Yeah.
Some people that were into green tea, but I'll have to look at it. We're going to buy some.
Made you sleep or made you stay out?
I thought it said go buy the green tea with the bear on it that has the sleeping cap on. That's what you want.
Will be able to.
Yeah. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but
Oh,
Yeah.
It just,
No, I won't have a cup, right before bed.
Okay.
But I mean, if you have a cup of green tea and it lasts for a few hours, you have a cup of green tea 2 hours before you go to bed, I sleep totally fine. Because again, it actually, I mean, if you just read about drinking green tea, the benefits it's crazy.
I didn't know it was
I mean,
a vasodilator. That's news to me.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Is that great?
sure is.
Learning a little bit
Okay.
of everything tonight. Cool.
Right? Okay.
Thank you for being on the show.
Yes. We're learning so much. All right. Nope, I'm on the next page here. Sorry, I should have already turned those. Okay. Have you suffered from any injuries in your powerlifting career, and how did you recover from those injuries?
So to be honest, they're very minor. And all of the injuries I've suffered from have not been from lifting. They've been from handling other lifters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Greg Powell, I've had the same injury multiple times. And so it's either tearing underneath my armpit, hurting my trap, or hurting my shoulder from grabbing weight when they get dumped. And so we are at one of Rita West meets, and I handed off to Bob Merck, Greg Powell, Rich Putnam, and unfortunately, the bench pad was a little lower. And Rich Putnam a couple times. It's so funny. Anytime me and Rich try to alternate meets because it's really hard to handle him and I in the same meet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when somebody goes to dump weight and I go to grab it, for whatever reason, that motion tears me apart. Training, I typically don't get hurt because I am a very moderate type of training lifter. I believe, and listen, guys, I probably could have benched 1,000 pounds a year ago, but I don't want to yet. You know what I mean? And I know that sounds crazy, but every time I hit a PR in a meet, my family and myself, we go out to dinner as a celebration. We don't go out to eat that much, and so we go out to dinner for a celebration. And there's only so many PRs that you can hit. Like Ryan, your best bench is what? Is it 1085?
1075, yes.
1075, right? Will you ever bench more than that again? You don't know.
Don't know.
And after you hit 1075, did you think, man, I better really enjoy this because I don't know if I'm going to be here again. And so when I go into meets and when I go into training, there's a couple of things. Number one is I want to be sure. I need to know I'm able to hit this safely.
Right.
And so I'm never going to a meet trying to hit more than 25, 30 pounds than what I've hit before. In the gym, I don't max out for a PR. I'll do what I hit in a meet before. So right now in the gym, I probably won't bench more than 955. I save it for the meet. A couple reasons. Now, this is me. Everybody's different, right? But I save it for powerlifting meets because if you miss groove in the gym the week before you go do a meet, in your head, it can put something negative in there.
Very true.
Sure.
And guys, I really never get hurt. I mean, we handle a lot of heavyweight all the time.
Right.
I benched 900 this past weekend, and we typically don't get hurt because we train smart and we train to be safe. We double up with spotters. We use space savers. We slow each other down. We need to. Slowing Rich Putnam down is really hard sometimes. But yeah, I really believe in enjoying the ride, and I tell you, I love powerlifting so much. I mean, I love everything about it. I love nutrition. I love helping other lifters. I love being at meets at helping. I love lifting meets. I love training. Dude, I love training, right? When I go to the gym to train, I do not think about going to train. I think about going out and hanging out with my friends and having a good time. And in the meantime, while doing that, you're lifting, and hitting PRs and things. But man, I want to enjoy this. I'm 41 and I want to, after I hit 1,000 pounds, what, how much more are you really going to do? When is it enough? And so, I love running meets. I love being part of meets. I love the whole thing. And I want to enjoy it as long as I can, and some of these guys and girls are out there, they're rushing, they'll take whatever, they'll throw whatever plies on, they'll make these huge jumps, they'll sacrifice their body. rather than going, if you can bench 800 pounds, cool, but it doesn't mean that your body is totally ready for it. Your tendons and your bones don't grow as quickly as your muscles do. And instead of saying, hey, I'm going to take this 30-pound PR, I'm really going to enjoy this. I'm going to love it. I'm going to celebrate it. And I'm going to thank my handlers and my team and be happy. And I just want to go for more. And so sometimes it has to be enough. You need to enjoy the ride. Yeah. And, I really enjoy the ride of powerlifting.
Yeah. It's all about the journey, huh? All right. Outside of the gym, what do you like to do? Like, what are some of your hobbies other than lifting?
I have a 72 Camaro. It's beautiful, man. It's most 72 Camaros are typically yellow with black stripes. Mine is black with yellow stripes. Nice. I just reupholstered the seats inside of it. I mean, the engine, everything is mint. And so my kids love car shows. And so for a family thing, I'm a really busy guy. Take the kids. We bought my wife a 2017 Camaro RS because I'm a little older style. She's newer style. And we're having it wrapped right now in glitter pink.
Oh, I got to see a picture of this one.
Oh, that sounds great.
It's wild. And so, yeah, on the side, really, I love the car thing. We go to the car shows like this past year. They had a Halloween, and it was around Halloween time, and my daughter and I dressed up like Beauty and the Beast, and we dressed the car up, and we just, I never thought that a midlife crisis, and spending so much money on a classic car would bring the family so much closer together, but really that helped me a lot with building a relationship with some of the kids.
That's awesome.
Some of my, yeah. So really love that. That and crazy. There's a local guy to here named Stuart Friesen, and he drives NASCAR. And so we bought a camper, and we go to a couple NASCAR races here in camp in the middle of the track. And we really enjoy that too.
Oh, yeah, that sounds fun. Very cool. What? Oh, I like this question. What is your favorite moment in your powerlifting career?
So it was a bad moment and a good moment at the same time. So this is recently, man. I hit my 955 bench, right? It was October. That was October 2nd or December 2nd, December 3rd. And then Wayne from the WPO, he says, hey man, I just got a spot at the Olympia. Do you and Rich want to come lift at the Olympia? And I was like, yeah, like absolutely can't miss it. I book flights. Rich gets with Anderson Powerlifting. They get us a room. We've got everything figured out. About 3 days, I haven't been sick, guys. Before this, I had not been sick in 10 years. Like, I don't get sick. It doesn't happen. I take really good care of myself. So Rich was a little sick before. Him and that, like the day before we leave, man, this RSV, I don't know if you guys have heard of RSV. It's usually present in children. It got a hold of me and Rich. We got to Vegas. We spent 2 days in bed. I'm not the kind of guy to sit and you guys know Rich. Rich Putnam doesn't stay in bed. Taking naps all day. I'm like, how are we going to do this, right? In the meantime, the meet is set up. It's set up differently. So the meet is not your conventional meet, which I love, right? Because sometimes 3 lift meets can get monotonous, right? The meet is set up for reps. It's lightweight and heavyweight. And so lightweights, it's the most of your reps total together. So it's 600, 500, 400. For the heavyweights, it's 700, 600, 500. And so you have to get gear for this, right? I have no single ply shirt for 400. Don't know what I'm going to do for 500. And I get a hold of Rob Farrell. The guy sends me a box of shirts, man. Like Rob is the best, right? So Rich gets shirts, I get shirts. We only have a little bit to train. We get out there, we're in bed, we're dead. And so Wayne didn't have me weigh in because I just lifted a week before and I was lighter. And so, but I get on the scale and I'm like 119 pounds. You can be up to 242. So Jeff Johnson, you guys know Jeff Johnson, obviously. Jeff's a world-class lifter, right? He comes down from like 257 and he's going to lift in the class with me, 252 or 257. So he just makes weight, puts some weight back on. I'm at like, dude, I don't know how much. Going into that day, man, if I was 216 pounds, it probably would have been a lot because I wasn't eating, wasn't drinking, and so
gosh.
we get in there, and I do the first set. I end up getting 8 reps with 600. Jeff Johnson gets 7, right? And they did it in like they separated out so it lasted throughout the day. And a 2-hour break goes by. I looked at Rich and I'm like, dude, I'm not recovered. Like I'm not gonna be able to do this, dude. Like this is just crazy.
That happens.
And so I do the second set. Jeff gets me by a rep, right? And for whatever the grace of God happens after that set, I was like, wow, like I think I'm okay, but I'm still sitting there. I remember looking at my watch. I looked at my watch and it was 1 o'clock, and I was literally like, Rich, I'm not, dude. I don't think I'm gonna make this. Like I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this out. Like this is deathly sick. I end up doing, Jeff does 400 for 22 reps. I do 400 for 23 reps and ended up winning.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was,
Good
Lord.
Lord.
That was so tough. I mean, I can't explain how sick we were. Like it was so bad. So that was the coolest. I'll never forget that.
That's cool.
Went out there and dug deep. I don't know anything about that RSV, but it sounds like it takes your appetite away, energy level. I mean, the whole 9 yards, right?
It was coughing, fever.
Oh God.
No appetite, shaking, sweating, dizzy. I mean, I could multiply the two. Like this RSV made COVID look like a joke.
Wow.
Like, I mean, a joke. It was, I can't put into words how bad it actually was. And so to come out of there, and win, it was cool too, because, Wayne, he gave out cash. We both won an F8 bar. He gave out cash right there on the spot. Like Wayne was really, really cool and accommodating, but, it was great. I mean, Jeff is such a good lifter too, so to be able to pull that off was really great.
Rich is in the chat box stating that you couldn't breathe right either. Couldn't get no air. Jesus. Multiple symptoms here.
Breathe. You could, it was, like I said, I mean, take COVID and put it on steroids, man. It was awful.
Ooh.
It was awful. Yeah. Yeah.
How long did it take to kick that? Was there any antibiotics or anything, or?
So there's no antibiotics, no mess. I mean, literally, Rich had it for like 2 months, and I had it for like 5 weeks.
Oh,
yeah, it was wild, man. It was wild.
Oh shit! Yeah, I don't want that one.
Oh no, that is not.
That sounds way worse than COVID. Fuck.
No,
yeah, and then Rich. So Rich being sick too. Rich ends up winning as well. So he's up against AJ, Womack. I forget who else was in this class, but there were a few of them in his class too. Oh, Chad Akes, and so Rich ends up winning too. So me and him win sick, So
Awesome.
I really think for both of us, man, it was a really good moment against some really great lifters. Being sick or not, like it's tough to go up against those guys anyway. So it was really good.
Yeah, that is really cool. It's definitely something to be proud of.
So that would probably answer the question on his. His worst meet was probably. So
yeah, because we do have both questions. Yeah. So the next one is, what is your least favorite and worst moment of powerlifting?
That meet? So
are they like or is there?
Man, I love powerlifting, and if you miss and you don't learn something or take something away from it, it doesn't. And you know what, guys? I mean, this doesn't sound like someone who's a powerlifter, but if you miss, it means somebody else gets to win.
That's true.
Right?
Right.
And so I love the sport so much that I want somebody else on their best day rather than somebody else for them, to screw up and me to win or beat somebody on the, and so I can't think of a powerlifting meet or a time where I didn't come back and be like, the people in the group that we lift with, man, I mean, listen, these guys and girls are our best friends, you know? And so when we take these trips, we go to dinner together, we hang out, we talk, we have fun. I'm a jerk to everyone. And so we really, it would be disrespectful to take one of those times and call it a bad time,
Right.
you know, because I've always learned something from missing. Sometimes you're better off missing than you are making it. You know, we all need to be humbled a little bit.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point. When you first started out, what lifters did you look up to?
Well, I mean, dude, Rich has always been, you know, a few things. When I first started lifting, I was not that strong. And so I struggled for a really long time. I was stuck, and guys, if there's lifters out there, I was stuck at like a 550-pound bench for a long ass time. And, you know, Rich was mentioned 700 or 800. And, you know, he would say things like, you know, you're a 750-pound bencher, yada, yada, yada. And I'd be like, dude, I don't know if that's really there, right? And so, I've always looked up to Rich. You know, Scott Mendelson back in the day. So I got invited to Bench America God, I was 19 years old. You know, Scott benched the first 800 pounds there.
Well, that was Bench America too?
Yeah.
I think too.
Yeah, Bench America too.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then, yeah, and then the, you know, one of my favorite things too, and Ryan, I'm going to give you this one, man. The respect I had for your lifts, like, dude, you know, there's some lifts out there that are like, Ryan, your lifts were so good. And, you know, something that inspired me a lot about with the Arnold was your video, Road to the Arnold. And the powerful stroke that you had. When I train now, I do a lot of pause and then power up as fast as I can. Right. If you watch your lifts from the Arnold then, when you were training through, like, it was so powerful and explosive. And that's what powerlifting's supposed to be.
Right.
You know,
I appreciate that
explosive power. Yeah. Outside of that, you know, now, I mean, you can't look at Jimmy Kolb and not be, I mean, listen, that guy is designed. I don't care who, what, when, where, how, or why, what anyone has to say. That guy is an absolute monster. Oh. And so if you don't try to, you know, his training's way different than ours and he can't train differently. I was just talking to Jimmy today about, you know, an exercise he was doing that we stole from him. But Jimmy's unbelievable. Yeah, and I mean, so that's really probably the group. You know, Gene Reichschlag, you know, he's a cool lifter, but he wasn't really as personable. But I mean, you know, a heck of a lifter. But yeah, I mean, I would say, you know, and again, Rich is, even to this day, Rich, you know, I'm very motivated, self-motivated. There's nobody who can really push me in this world besides Rich.
That's you know, a great training partner too.
Yeah, it sure is.
Cool. Let's see here. What are your favorite accessory exercises for bench?
They change so much. You know, a year or two ago, my shoulders were so weak. And I would notice, because like from here to here off the chest, right? That's chest. And then from here to here is shoulders. And then here to here is triceps, right? And I was getting stuck in that area. Like, you could watch my first 800-pound bench. You could see it came here and then stopped. And then I'd rely on my triceps to get it out. So we started doing, we took a bamboo bar, right? And we put kettlebells and bands on it, and we just keep adding weight, and we do sets of 10.
Oh,
and
wow.
Man, it is you know, in the first couple, it's great because we train a lot of new people. Anybody who wants to come to the gym, lift at Richie's house, it's free, right? Everybody just comes. The rule we have, and I hold this, if you're coming to the gym to work out, you're working out and you're doing what we're doing, right? These guys, when they get that bamboo in their hands and to watch the shaking and moving, but the stability that built in my shoulders, and really, like, when you bench, another thing that we do is when we do back, we do we put the bar and the bands hanging like you're doing reverse bands,
Mm-hmm.
and we load the shit out of it, man, to the point where it's just about picking you off the bench, and we bring that down to touch. So when you're doing back and do like an upright row,
Yep.
you're doing like this motion, or you're doing lat pull downs, you're doing this motion, but it's not like you're benching. When you do that reverse band and you're pulling that bar in, it's putting you in the same motion as with a shirt and lifting gear, right? And so a lot of times you have to go quick and pull this in, and it really teaches you that motion. So those two exercises really help. But for the most part, after that, man, kind of like what Bill Gillespie talked about when he came on your show, one of the smartest guys I've ever met in my entire life. He talks a lot about, listen, you got to do the motion that you're doing. And so, Wednesdays I do the, regular like 5x5 bench and a little bit of accessories. Sundays we're either doing boards or we're doing full range with our shirts. You've got to do that motion. A lot of the people, doing all this crazy wonky stuff, really, you learn over time, it's not that beneficial.
Right.
Yeah.
That bamboo bar, is that done on a heavy bench day or a moderate light bench day?
Well, so what we do shoulders with it.
Okay.
We'll do regular bamboo bench, but with shoulders. So we do that. So we do back, a little bit of biceps, and then shoulders the same day.
Okay.
And so we do at the very end of the workout, we do the bamboo bar, and so that's our Monday routine.
Okay.
So we do, holy cow, we do 3, 6, 9 sets of 10 with lat pull downs.
Fuck, man.
Yep.
Oh,
we do 9 sets of 10 with those reversed benches. And then we typically do about 5 sets of 10 with those shoulder presses.
Wow.
With the bamboo bar.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yep. And if you can't afford a bamboo bar, what we have it's 2 PVC pipes together. So it's one like 2-inch PVC pipe, and then we put a 1-inch PVC pipe in front of and inside of it.
Give it more, rigidness.
We taped it. Yep.
Yeah.
And then, that thing goes and shakes. You're talking about spending $10, $20 rather than spending $400 on a bar.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
idea. Let's see here. What is your favorite, most fun meet that you've done?
What is it?
Sorry, I'm talking to the microphone here. What is your favorite, most fun meet that you've done?
Man, listen, when you get up on the Rogue stage at the Arnold, it's so much fun. I mean, the first year I went was in 2018. And when you walk into that room and there's all the people and all the booths, and I mean, it's like, hey, there's Ronnie Coleman. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, yeah.
There's Ryan Kennelly, there's Jimmy Cole, there's just so many people there. They had, you just, everywhere you look, there's there's celebrities and popularity, and there's different federations and different people, and you can buy and do pretty much anything you want to do. You can go watch anything you want to do, and it just feels like, to me at the Arnold, like everybody's in a good mood and everybody's there to have fun, and it's like an escape from reality. So you take the thing that I love the most, which is powerlifting, weightlifting, right, and you put everything about it into one room. It's so much fun, man. And whether if it's watching it or doing it, I love it so much. I look so forward to going out to the Arnold.
I have to disagree with you, Keith. I've ran into some people at the Arnold who weren't in good moods, and I had to yell at them one time. So, different story. Continue on.
Let's see here. What is something about you that would surprise everybody?
That would surprise everybody.
Yeah.
I would have said triathlons, but I already let that one out of the bag. That would surprise everybody. Man, I'm such an open book. I don't know if there's much to surprise anyone.
The triathlon thing surprised me. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's usually the get to, swimming a couple miles and biking 100 miles and then running 25 or 26 miles. That's usually, don't look at me and think of that. So that's usually the one. Outside of that, I mean, anybody who knows me knows I'm pretty wide open about everything in life. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Okay. What gym do you train at, and what gym have you spent like the most time training at, if they're not the
Yep,
same place?
yeah, it's good. Listen, I mean, we lift at Richie's place, and so I have like a perfect looking sort of commercial gym at my house, right? And so I think I've got like 15 grand into the gym in my
Oh,
house,
wow.
and I lift here once every other week. My kids use it though.
Oh, that's good. I mean, there you
But
go.
sort of funny, my oldest boy who plays football, he just asked me to start going to the gym and lift at Richie's.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
and so at Richie's house, it's a barn, you know what I mean? And like there's stuff all over the place, and we make a complete mess of it. I can't even begin to tell you how many hundreds and hundreds of hours we've spent in there. I mean, we're there all the time. If we're talking commercial gym, there's a commercial gym about an hour from us. I've actually run some powerlifting meets there. It's called ABC Sports and Fitness. And the guy, I mean, it's amazing. They have powerlifting everything there. They have a safe place for people, right? And then you have the powerlifting spot. And he's an unbelievable guy. And he makes some of the equipment himself.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and that's a great spot. But the Gorilla Pack is the home, always be my favorite place. Yeah.
Yeah, most commercial gyms don't cater to powerlifters or don't allow bands and chains or don't allow you to
Right.
play the music you want. Thank God we
Yep.
have a private facility that allows us to switch the music, when we're in there. And they got Forza benches and they love powerlifting, so that's good. But
It helps.
some places they kind of frown upon when you bring in bands and
Can't
chains and
can't,
stuff.
can't even use chalk.
That's
Like,
true.
I
Chalk.
you
know.
can't bring chalk in here.
It's like ridiculous. Let's see here. What advice would you offer new lifters?
All right, here we go. Ready? I actually just wrote an article on something that's similar to this. And so, guys, what do you see January 1st?
An influx of people at the gym.
You see people making promises to themselves that they don't know that they're going to break in a couple weeks, right? For new lifters, and this goes along with diet and lifting and so on and so forth, there are not just two speeds, which is completely on or completely off. There's a gradual speed. And so listen, if you go to work, you make money, and if you don't go to work, you don't make any money, right? If you don't go to the gym, you're not making gains, and if you go to the gym, you're going to make some gains. And so you have to show up. If you show up for every scheduled workout, you're going to make progress. I don't care how old you are, what your genetics are, what you're doing, so on and so forth. And so I've been lifting the same days for 22 years, right? And so for a new lifter, you cannot go all in at once. You can't, and you don't need to. You don't have to. The first thing is to set up an actual schedule and find what's really available in your life, right? So what do you have available that you can give up easily without any issues with your friends, any issues with your family, any issues with work? What time is that? What day is that? When is that? Then you set your goals based on that, right? Okay. So if you decide I can lift 3 days a week for 2 hours a day, here are the days, then you go, based on that, what is the real goal that I can hit, right? So if you just totaled 1,000 pounds, the goal shouldn't be 1,500, right? It should be 1,100 maybe, right? And so you decide, what do I have to do in these workouts? Okay, if you're full power, you might have to bench and deadlift the same day. You might have to squat and bench the same day. You might have to squat and deadlift the same day, right? You might have to do a bench workout and do all your accessories after. But you have to put it on paper and make a decision to do that and stick to it. Nobody can do 2 a day for 5 or 6 days a week. Nobody can eat the same meal plan forever. I don't care how religious you are, you will fail. And so you don't need to also be on every supplement in the world. So you sit down and you actually write a schedule. And when you put things on paper, you commit to it, right? So with I have a bunch of the Cellular Cells Rising stores, right? And so in the beginning of each quarter, I write down what my goals are. I have never not hit one because like I'm so committed to putting those on paper. So I go through my calendar and I know if I have this vacation or that vacation, I say I'm either going to lift when I'm on the vacation or I'm not going to. And I make the decision as I'm writing it down, right? If you have scheduled workouts and you just don't go without a reason, you're going to be a loser. You might as well stop, right? Just don't even go because you're not the person who's made for this. You're just not, okay? When you put that schedule on though, say it's 2 days a week, lifting 2 days a week for 20 years, you can bench 1,000 pounds. Lifting 7 days a week for a month, you might be lucky if you bench 200 pounds, right? It's so true. And so for anyone who's starting, because as humans, we want that instant gratification. We want to be level 10 right away. Powerlifting is not that. Most of your power lifters, guys, look at the age of some of these lifters and what they're doing. You're seeing guys who are nearing 50 years old bench 1,000 pounds plus, right? If you're 20 and you do it correctly, if you're 20 and you lift 2 or 3 days a week all the way through, you're a world-class lifter. I don't care what your genetics are, if you take any kind of supplements, if your diet still isn't really great, you can be great by doing it moderately and being consistent. If you have a workout plan, show up. It's the same thing with the diet, right? People want to go into the first thing people start lifting. They're like, I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to buy chicken. I'm going to buy rice. I'm going to, you know what I mean? I'm going to do vegetables and all this stuff. And then they go, I'm going to get creatine and amino acids. And then they'll go to buddy in their gym like, hey man, like, you know where I can get some stuff? And that doesn't make any sense. The rule is start lifting, set your schedule, start lifting, right? And then don't even worry about your diet. See what your plateau is after a few months. So say you hit a 250 pound bench or a 400 pound squat and you're not getting any better. Okay, change your diet, right? So we're taking this thing in steps. Change your diet, okay? Pull sugar out, right? You were talking about you just pulled sugar out and thinking about maybe pulling coffee. Doesn't have to be dramatic. And then see where you go. And then fix your diet a little bit more and see where you go. And then, okay, let's add one supplement. Like let's say we add glutamine, right? The amino acid that really completes the full chain of a protein for us. And then you see where that brings you. And then so then when you're 35, 40 years old and you exhausted all these things and you want to start exploring other things, that's fine, right? Like you've earned that.
Right.
But you cannot just jump in. It's not that easy. And so you're either going to end up quitting or dead, right? Or
early, yeah.
Or you can live a happy life and be very motivated by going to the gym because you're not overtraining is the worst thing in the world. Ryan, have you ever overtrained?
Absolutely. I drove my CNS completely into the ground and it took 2 weeks to come back. I don't know if that's because of my age now or I'm just, I feel like I'm running out of time. So I'm rushing things and I'm doing it on purpose. So yeah, but I'm learning though. Yeah, definitely I've overtrained.
Yeah. And so if, again, I lift 3 days 1 week, 4 days the next week. Sometimes if I take a vacation, I'll lift. Sometimes I won't, right? But my things are totally planned out. And that is the best thing you can do. And so to anyone out there who's either been lifting for a long time or wants to start lifting and you're hitting bumps and you're motivated, unmotivated, it's because you're not planning right. And most of lifting goes with planning. And it's the same thing with the workout. You don't have to have like a specific workout. Like I'm going to do this, 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 and that. Because sometimes something hurts, sometimes so on and so forth. But if you plan something out, don't skip a set, right? Because if you do, you just taught yourself that it's okay to quit. And so have a schedule, go slow, be consistent. You will make gains. Don't rush it and complete all your sets and never miss a scheduled workout. Look, dude, I have not missed I never go, Oh my God, it's Wednesday night. All of my friends, my family, my kids, everybody knows. My work, I get like 200 calls a day. Guys, I'm not kidding. It is wild. When I'm in the gym, Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday, my phone doesn't ring.
Wow.
They know
They're
that's
trained.
where I am. That's what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
And so that's the best advice I could possibly give to someone who wants to lift.
And that's very awesome advice. And I hope people that are watching this definitely listen to that and take advantage of what Keith is saying, because it's very, very beneficial. I mean, it makes total sense. And it's a lot of things, commitment's a big word for people. But like you say, if you plot it down and plan and attack, you'll have victory. So.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing is, don't bring your garbage to the gym, right? Like if you're, dude, the gym is my escape, right? That's the place to go have fun, leave all the crap at the door. And, if there's people who bring garbage into the gym, separate them from yourself, or you separate yourself. But if we get garbage in our place, I mean, listen, if anybody's ever lifted with our group, if you don't fit or you don't bring something positive to it, you're going to get pushed out by me really quick.
That's
because
awesome.
I will ride your ass until you either cry, want to fight me, or quit.
I love that.
The gym is made. I mean, listen, it is made for strong people.
That's right.
Right. Like you want to be a power lifter and you're going to get under a bar that has 800 pounds on it, whether if it's squat or bench or pull it from the floor with deadlift. You've got to be pretty mentally strong, and you got to be tough, and you got to be committed. And if you don't have that, like, what are you doing in our place?
Right.
Like, get out of here. You're taking up room and you're taking up our time.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I'm a drill sergeant myself, and I try to break them mentally sometimes, and the strong ones they stay, and the weak ones they kind of fizzle out. So,
damn right, damn right.
Separate themselves. Who do you think will be the future of the sport? There's a lot of
future of the sport. Man, I don't know who the future of the sport will be, but what I do know is that our sport is really amazing, and we kind of ruin it for ourselves sometimes, right? You have raw lifters against cured lifters. You have lifters that do supplements against lifters that don't. You have federations against federations.
Yep, that's true.
Have sometimes men against women, and now you have the transgender thing in here, right? Like there's so much that's happening.
Right.
If everybody came together and said, this sport is freaking amazing, and we need to figure out, what I loved about Bench America was that Joe took, I don't know, Ryan, if you remember how Bench America worked.
I was at Bench America 3.
Okay, you were at 3.
Yep.
Okay, I wasn't at 3. Joe took everyone from different federations. If you used 1-ply or 2-ply, if you were clean, if you weren't clean, if you lifted in this fed or that fed. And he had a formula that made sense to me that brought everyone together, right? Powerlifting, it should be in the Olympics. But really, if you're asking me, the reason it isn't is because if you read these forms and some of these things and some of the stuff that's saying. And so there's a few things I have in my head. I really like running meets. One of them would be, some people get frustrated by lifts that weren't great in the count as world records, right? Like we've all seen them, so on and so forth. It's really not blame the lifter because they got the lights, right? Me personally, I want my lifts to be as clean as possible. Listen, dude, when I get 1,000 pounds, if it's not clean, I'm rejecting the lift, right? But my goal, once I hit 1,000 pounds, I want to start focusing on like running meets and helping other people and doing a lot more. But my goal was to set something up where if it's a world record, you have to get at least 3 or 4 federations involved. And like the presidents of the federations have to watch a video from 2 angles to agree that it's a good lift or bad lift. And you have to submit this. And then that is like the real powerlifting record.
I like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And so it's just the sport is so incredible. I mean, dude, the sport is so great. And I don't know who's going to lead the charge and, who's going to have the best lift and what the future looks like. But I do know that it could be a lot better. And I would love to have so many more people. Tiny Meeker's doing a great thing with Baddest Bencher. He's trying to get it overseas to get a ton of money raised for it. But I think there's good things to come. I think we all just need to figure it out.
Yeah, you know, when I first benched 800 in 2002, if somebody would have, little birdie would have came to my shoulder and said there'll be a man that can bench that raw one day, I would have said horse shit, you know, and there'll be a guy that can do 1400 or Jimmy Kolb. I was like, no, not happening. That's not in this lifetime. But we're seeing it, and who knows what another 5 years would bring. I mean, people are just human beings are evolving. We're seeing more and more from women. I mean, it's an exciting time in powerlifting. It really is.
It's
definitely
a good thing.
Yeah, it sure is. And you know, people, you guys are great in this. Though I've watched a lot of your podcasts, and the thing I love, the first thing is you guys don't get political.
No.
90% of what you do is a lifter lifts something, you shout them out, you ask them good questions for advice for other people, and you don't get involved in the garbage. We don't. There's not a lot of that in our sport, right? And so, I hope you guys keep doing this, and I think eventually people are going to pick up on and go back and watch all of your videos because there's so much good stuff in there, and people need a break from all the garbage.
From the garbage, I agree. That's why we decided to do this, you know, and keep it PG and you know, when we have guests on, you don't have to like wonder if we're going to ask you bad questions or it's laid back, it's enjoyable, and it's informative too, you know, and we get a lot from our guests, you know, and this has been one for the ages here with what you're talking about for the beginning lifters, and we're going to get into nutrition, I think, pretty soon too. So this is a learning experience for me.
Yeah, no, a lot of good information for sure. Let's see. Okay, this is kind of cool one too. If you had the opportunity to go back and do it all over again, would you change anything? If so, what would it be?
I wouldn't change a damn thing. Guys, I am so happy with everything. The people that are around me. I mean, listen, our handling crew, if you watch my 955 bench, when they hand me that bar, it doesn't move. Like, it doesn't move. I feel like going back and changing anything would be disrespectful to the people who have been around me, who have helped me, traveled with me. I love where I'm at. I love the team that we lift with. I love our sport. I love all the meets that I've done. I'm really blessed, and I just feel so good about everything that powerlifting has done for me. I mean, there's been so many good times and so many moments. You know? I just I don't regret anything. I really don't.
That's cool.
Where can I see the 955? Is that on Instagram or YouTube or?
It's on my Instagram.
Okay.
Yep, it's on my Instagram. It's on my Facebook too. I post a lot of stuff, but it's on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It was December 2nd or 3rd.
That's the video I would have used to start the show, but I went to YouTube and I typed in your name and I was scrolling down. I just thought
it's not up on YouTube yet.
I saw 870 and I'm like, well, he said 900 something. I'm like, fuck, what should I do? So I'll just play this one. Hope it's okay. But it went up like 135, dude.
Listen, I was probably happier with that 8. I remember that 870. I was probably happier with that than I was my 955. It's
really?
For me, it's all this. You know, it's all the same. You know, I love those PRs. They feel so good.
God, they do.
Man. I enjoy them so much.
Those white lights, hell yeah.
Yeah, love
Nothing
that feeling.
like that. Yep, nothing like it. What is next for you?
So the 1,000-pound bench is gonna be the next thing. The first attempt, and because it's time now, right? Like, I have messed around long enough. You know, it's been a while. I am getting older, so it's time to take it for a ride. And so, June 3rd will be my first time trying it. I don't really expect to get it on my first shot, right? I think I could have already benched it, but the first time handling that new weight, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. Like, me, I'm going to go and I'm going to enjoy it. But one of the coolest things coming up, man. So Rob Farrell and I, we've been friends for a long time. We've competed against each other for a long time. We've gone back and forth and broke each other's world records, whether if it was push, pull, or bench only, a million times, right? He is such a good guy. He's so great for the sport. And so Anderson Powerlifting is putting up $10,000 for the meet. Ryan, you know about this meet. Ashley, I'm not sure if you heard much about it, and they let they're letting me gather lifters for it because I work closely with them, the XPC, and Rob is going to do lightweights with me, and so that guy is a monster, right? Rob is a monster. I love competition. I would rather compete against you know, Jimmy Cole than I would just go through a weight class. It's just so enjoyable, you know, and I will cheer. Listen, Rob and I have competed. Rob beat me by 5 pounds for best lifter. It was like 4 years ago in bench. I hit 845 and he hit 850. And I cheered for Rob on the side. Yeah. You know, like, listen, if you can't hope that your competitor gets a lift, you shouldn't be doing it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, I don't care what's on. And guys, there's not, you know, besides this meet coming up and baddest venture, there's not a lot of money in powerlifting, right? And so what's next for me is that you know, I'm trying to hit 1,000 and then I'm going to train up for that other meet, which the meet is cool. It's going to be 3 lifts in bench and you add the totals together. So this isn't go for your biggest bench. And if you miss it, you get another shot. This is, you better be strategic. Right. And so to be on that platform with Rob, I'm really glad he's lifting, and it's really good competition for me. I'm very humble. I don't mean to sound arrogant, but it is tough sometimes to find somebody who's a little bit lighter in weight who can bench, you know, more than 900 pounds. So to get Rob in there is it's really cool. And so I can't wait. Regardless what happens again, it's like I can't wait for that to come. You know, on top of the guys who are going to be there, it's just we have such a good lineup. I haven't released what we have in the lineup yet, but in the middleweight class, there's 3 people who can bench 1,100 pounds. Already have. I mean, so it's just wild.
Stacked.
Yeah. And so, and Anderson, man, they're so cool. Anderson is giving everybody wrist straps and they're giving everybody t-shirts. And, you know, Ken and Kevin Pittman, they're putting this money up just because they love powerlifting. Yes, like, they're such a good group, man. I know you guys know them. Yep. Ken came up and he watched the Last Man Standing. And he sat on a table at a table on the stage, and he just loved it. And after that is when he offered up the 10 grand. And you know, they love the sport as much as I do. You know, and I can't wait for the Arnold next year to do this. You know, it's just so 1,000 pounds and then that meet, and you know, and then the next exciting things is I after, you know, when I hit my 1,000. And then after this meet, I really want to help bring the sport to a better place and help other lifters get to like that next level. Like, I want to run some big meets, which being part of the Arnold, you know, it's already pretty much there. And help other people get to these big numbers, you know, and put our sport in a better place, you know, maybe get some more money involved in the sport.
That's awesome, Keith.
That's very cool. I like that. What advice would you give to lifters about training, diet, and supplements?
Went over this a little bit before. I think I pretty much covered the majority of it. When it comes to diet, there's a lot of stuff out there. I guess this is a good place to start touching on diet stuff. There's a lot. Like, listen, any diet that has come out, I have read about it and I've also tried them. So what I'll do, when I was 19, I tried the Atkins diet. Yep. And I've tried the Mediterranean diet, right? And I've tried the vertical diet. And after all of these diets, I run blood work. I take a look at where my kidney function, liver function, heart function, RBCs, testosterone levels, where everything's at, right? What I've come to learn is that there really isn't a perfect, like, diet, right? But the safest way, if you want to have longevity, right, and you want to feel healthy and be good, if something wasn't here 1,000 years ago, you shouldn't eat it. Right? Okay. So for me, it's rice, potatoes, bison, oranges, yogurt, which yogurt was around 1,000 years ago, believe it or not. Okay. You know, vegetables. So there's only a couple things everybody really agrees on, right? And so you've heard this before. Eggs are good for you. Eggs are bad for you. Well, egg whites are good for you. Yolks are bad for you. No, yolks are actually good for you. Milk's good for you. Milk's bad for you. There's all this stuff, right? And you, like, dude, you just don't know. So what I like to take a look at, I read a lot of college studies. The only way I'll do something is I'll read a college study from an Ivy League school or a higher level college that has like 300 participants or more, and they do it for an extended period of time. outside of that, what I listen to is what everybody's saying, right? And so there's only a couple of things that everybody agrees on, right? So the first one is sugar's bad for you.
Oh.
Everybody agrees that sugar's bad for you. It doesn't make a difference. We all agree sugar's bad. So sugar needs to be out of it. Number two is vegetables are good for you. Like, who disagrees that vegetables are good for you? The last one is that oils. You guys know what vegetable oil actually is? Do you guys have any idea?
We're not talking olive oil. We're talking vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil, yeah.
I don't know. Probably some GMO, high fructose.
Something not good.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah. So everybody sees vegetable oils and it's got vegetables on the label. Well, there's no vegetables in it. So vegetable oil, right, is like fairly recently made, and it's literally made of like seeds and leftover crap, sticks, seeds, leaves, just garbage. And they put this powder on it and they heat it, and then it becomes a liquid. Okay. The issue with it, our body doesn't understand what that is, and our body actually fights it, right? And so if you ever feel off, it's most likely from some sort of strange oil that you had. So the last thing is that I don't touch. I actually have a bottle of it here next to me. The second issue that I run into is, like honey, most olive oils are fake.
Right.
Right. I
heard that.
don't know if you guys know that. So I'm going out and I'm reading that extra virgin olive oil is like the greatest thing in the world, right? And all the other oils are bad for you. Well, I was spending $35 on a bottle of olive oil that I was consuming forever, and then I found out that like 3/4 of it was vegetable oil.
Oh no!
So I did a bunch of research, and I found an inexpensive cold pressed olive oil. I actually have it right here. I tell everyone about this. It's called California Ranch Extra Virgin Olive Oil.
Okay, what store are you getting that at?
So Price Chopper, I mean, dude, you can order it from Amazon, you can anywhere. So again, it's California Ranch Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Man, they're getting props from me. Hopefully their stock goes up, right? This is cold press actual. I've done a ton of research on it. It's actual cold pressed olive oil. It brings down your bad cholesterol, brings your good cholesterol up, reduces inflammation, it lubricates your joints. I mean, it is the best thing in the world. If you cook with anything other than a real cold press olive oil, you're not going to feel good. Like, you're just not going to feel great. And so the 3 easy pieces of advice that I would give is don't consume sugar. Eat as many vegetables as you possibly can, because the micronutrients are amazing. And for oils, use extra virgin olive oil.
So my Walmart $3.95 virgin olive oil is probably bullshit, and I've been eating that for years, Keith. God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you read about it, man, if you start Googling it, and the other thing I don't do, guys, like I'm a researcher. I mean, before I take a supplement, before I put anything into my body, I'll spend like 2 months reading about it every night. I mean, like reading article after article. And the thing that I've learned is most of your popular articles that are the first ones that pop up in Google, those are paid for ads, right? So some of these guys are like, hey, you should eat steak every single day. Well, that was paid for by like, these guys who own farms and then, you read this article that eggs are good for you, but that's being paid for by the dairy market, right? As you go down further, you start to find like real articles that are actually written by colleges and people who are in science and so on and so forth. And like, no, actually, here's what the real truth is. And so everything you read in magazines and the top news feed probably aren't real.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Crazy.
I need to order some olive oil. I'll switch my.
I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find that at like Whole Foods or somewhere. Some store's got to have it around this.
Dude, it's awesome. The California Ranch Extra Virgin Oil. I've been using. I found out about this like 4 years ago, and I tell the entire world because it's so deceiving, man. Like, it's the same thing with honey and olive oil are 2 things that are most fake. Like, you get honey, it's a literally caramelized sugar.
Yep.
So you think you're getting like some polyphenols and some antioxidants. You're getting a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, that's crappy.
That's scary, but it's
like,
true.
That's bull. You should be able to do that. It's really shitty. It's very misleading. What is your involvement with the XPC and the Arnold?
All right, so kind of try to make a long story short. Dan had the XPC, had been in the Arnold for a long time. Dan lost his media guy. Unfortunately, they had a falling out. The whole XPC site gets deleted. COVID happens. Dan ends up in like a really weird spot, right? I ended up, I was lifting in last man standing, and there were some rules and things about it that I was like, I don't think we have this quite right yet. And then Dan was like, listen, dude, if you just want to take it over, gather lifters, put the rules together, and see what happens. I end up taking that part of it over, and it ends up awesome. I'm talking to Dan, and I'm like, dude, what happened to your website? And he was like, well, I had a falling out. He took over everything, and now we don't have a website. And I'm like, Dan, I'm going to build a website for you. So I spent a couple days. I built a website for him. And then, I don't ask him for anything. And then now, like, he didn't know how to use a job form or any of that stuff. So I started organizing all of it. And also, trying to give him positive advice on like today's lifter, right? Dan's been in the game for such a long time, and today's society has changed so much. And so, Dan, he's so great because he'll come to me and be like, hey, Keith, what do you think of this or that? And, I'm trying to stay humble with all of this, but, he listens to it well. And the reason I'm trying to help so much, and again, Anderson is doing this big meet, and there's so much good stuff going on. When you go to the Arnold, it's just so cool. We talked about this before, but it's so cool. And so I wanted to be involved in that, and I want to see it get bigger and better and start, changing things around. And so, we've got money for bench. We're not going to say that there's money for full power yet. There won't be a ton, but, if we fill up the spots, which we will this year, me and Dan talked about doing a little bit of payout and building it back up to where we do, bigger and bigger payouts. And so, yeah, my involvement, because I love the sport, I love the Arnold so much. And, I've lifted in the XPC. We run meets XPC now. I don't ask Dan for anything except, hey, man, like, let's just make this thing great and give people a really good place to lift at. Because if you think, dude, the stage on set, did you guys see the stage on Saturday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, I went up there to help announce. Jean, Rich's wife, Jean Putnam, she helped a lot with announcing and stuff. And like, I had to help some of their guys squat and then run up there. And I stepped up on the stage, and dude, it was packed. And I was like, everybody should be able to experience this. And so, that's the goal is to help Dan, because he has that spot, and like really make the XPC and the Arnold something incredible over the next couple of years.
Keep growing it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I love that. I've done it a couple times, and I really enjoyed it. I definitely intend to go next year. I'm already excited about it. Would you like to thank any sponsors, give a shout out to any gear manufacturers?
Yeah, you got to go Anderson Powerlifting, Rob Farrell. I actually introduced those two. Anderson, SPD, and them ended up like SPD wanted to just sell their own stuff. Anderson stopped getting their elbow sleeves and their knee wraps, and like we turned to band shirts, but they didn't have a manufacturer for it. Rob was getting bombarded with orders, and he just kind of wanted to make a bunch of shirts and send it out there. So we introduced them out in Texas, and together they make such a great team. And it is so, they're both sides are so awesome. Rob is a great lifter. The gear that he makes is incredible. Anderson Powerlifting, dude, their wraps. I went through so many pair of wraps, and then I put a pair of the green black KLAs on because I have very small bones, right? And that's some of my very going slow, right? With lifting a lot of heavy weight, and their wraps literally make weight not feel heavy in my hands. They have great products and just great people. Like again, Ken and Kevin. Ken's slowly getting out, and Kevin's taken over. But Kevin Pittman, they're all such great people. And it's like a family out there, and them working together, getting the F8 stuff out, and now they're selling the F8 bars, which, dude, you guys have an F8 bar?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we use it all the time.
Unreal. Like that thing, you put 1,100 pounds on it, it doesn't bend. No. It's amazing.
It's freaking bulletproof.
It's freaking nuts.
Yeah, really is. Yeah. So those two groups, man, they're incredible, and they've been so helpful.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
You're out of questions,
I
aren't
might
you?
have questions,
Okay.
but you have.
I was just wondering, how often do you put on your band shirt in training? Is it once a month or
Nope. Yeah. So we do we do every other week.
Okay.
So for a while, man, we were putting them all. You know, Rich is a lot crazier than I am, right? Like Rich is super aggressive, and I'm moderate, and then like we meet in the middle, which I think we make each other. I guess successful would be the word, right? Or do better. And so we kind of met in the middle that putting gear on every other week really helps your CNS recover.
Okay.
You know, you can bench friggin' as much off a boards raw as you want, and it's not going to bother your CNS. So we do every other week. And I mean, really, if you're going every other week, you can go as heavy as you friggin' want. Jimmy Kolb is probably the only human being who can bench over 1,000 pounds every single week and still be okay. Like I watched his podcast and I was like, man, because dude, he's a monster and he is unbelievable, but people can't do what he's capable of doing. No. And so I'm more of a normal human being. And so we put gear on every other week, you know, and at this point, we've done Chondrogen, you know, where it's like the band work and the speed work, and we've done pyramid training and Bulgarian training and Russian training. But the reality is for me, you know, I feel like doing a progressive ad, like if you're 2 months out for a meet, like for me, it's going to be like this past week, I did 900, 2 weeks, I'm going to do like 930, another couple weeks, I'll do the 950, and then I'll be in prep for the meet to, you know, go grab 1,000. I feel like that really works the best. And we feel good, you know, like Ryan, they talk about being overtrained, man. Holy cow. Like, if you go heavy a couple weeks in a row, like it feels like your whole world is falling apart.
That's right. Right here. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm having that issue because, you know, I got that more is better type attitude, and I'm finding out, you know, and I always, you know, ask my guys too, you know, they're different age groups and body weights. And I ask them how they feel after every heavy bench session. Were they 90%? I mean, compared to what we did last week, the week before. So, but I don't think it would be hurtful for myself to maybe every other week put on the shirt, because I find myself getting in it every week now. So
you'll don't put it on every. I'm telling you, man, with these band shirts, every other week you will feel good. You'll make progress. Are you now? Are you doing B complex D and magnesium, Ryan?
I am not. I take a multivitamin and I take some fish oils, and that's about all I've been doing as far as.
Yeah, most of your multivitamin you'll lose in your urine just because there are a lot of preservatives and stuff in there. But it doesn't hurt to have it to try to hit, you know, to try to grab some of those micronutrients. But everybody in the world, period, if you're not taking vitamin D and magnesium, you really can't get it through diet. I mean, you can try like hell, but you know,
vitamin D3 or.
Yep,
okay.
D3. And believe it or not,
I have magnesium. I've been taking that before bed. Yeah. I don't know.
Yep. So magnesium and vitamin D. So vitamin D is actually a hormone. Like if you read about it, it's really like, I don't know why they don't teach this stuff in school. Or like there aren't billboards that say like take vitamin D and magnesium, but vitamin D and magnesium are great for you. But if you take B complex, not that like no numbers, a B complex has your 3 Bs in it that are good for your central nervous system. So your B complex, vitamin D and magnesium, if you take those, your CNS will recover a lot faster.
Well, I'm gonna get that B complex at Costco. I think I've seen it out there.
Yeah, I bet you.
Yeah, they're super inexpensive. And listen, when it comes to like, it's so funny because people are like, "What brand of glutamine do you buy?" I'm like, dude, it's an amino acid.
Right.
Like there's no different way that you're gonna like, nobody makes glutamine different. Like your B complex is going to be B complex. You know, vitamin D, it might have some vegetable oil in the tiny pills that you're taking. Dude, that's not going to bother you. People drink that shit by a gallon a year, right? But Ryan, if you get a B complex, vitamin D and magnesium, magnesium you want to be like 500 milligrams a day. Okay. You're probably like 320? What do you weigh?
On my way down, I'm 333 right now. So
you were big at the end.
Yeah,
you're freaking huge.
Yeah. Hey, same to you, sir, because I didn't recognize you in the warm-up room. I saw the tag from a distance and it said Odell. I'm like,
It's the beard, man.
No. I seen you on video, and video does
The beard.
Tyler Butcher. You know justice, dude. Because I saw you, and I'm like, that's too big. He's like 198. That guy's like 250 right there. You're fucking huge in person. Till you came over and I read Keith on top, I was like, oh fuck, he's fucking big, man. Yeah, so
it really helps that I'm like 5'6" too. I'm glad I'm short. Yeah. But if you so vitamin D, you'd probably want to take like between 4,000 to 6,000 milligrams a day at your body weight. And but if you do that, a B complex and magnesium, your CNS will recover really fast.
I need all the help I can get, man. I appreciate that advice.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm gonna jot that down here real quick.
Yeah.
You're pretty smart on supplements. Creatine, does it cause people heart attacks? Is it a great supplement? Is it overrated?
So I don't do it, so
I don't
it's
either.
really hard for me to judge it. I just don't, I know creatine drives, fluid intramuscular, makes you a little bloated, retain weight. From everything I've read, I've heard it isn't the devil, but I've also heard people talk about creatine and them going to the doctors and telling them their kidneys shut down. I think Jimmy Cole was just talking about that creatine was shutting his kidney down. So,
Really?
Yeah, I don't find it as a necessity. I've tried it before and I really didn't see like a huge, people are talking about like a 10% increase. I'm like, dude, if this can give me a 10% increase, but it's, I don't know. Really, do you guys understand like how a full protein works? Do you have any knowledge? Or
break it down for me, Keith, for our viewers. Yeah.
So
I'm learning.
In a gram of protein, so like in a whole protein, there's 20 amino acids, right? And so if one of those amino acids are missing, you piss it out. It's gone. So that'll float around your bloodstream and it'll hang out in your body. And if you're missing one of those amino acids that build that whole the 20 for the whole protein, it's gone. Okay. When we weight train, the first thing that we burn is glutamine.
Okay.
Right. And so some of the guys and girls that burn out or don't make gains or don't get better, they're actually typically missing glutamine. And so glutamine, like, dude, when you're even if you're like a cyclist, when people like hit that wall, typically it's because the glutamine is completely burnt out of your system and then it leaves your liver and then, dude, you're done. Like you can't move. So taking glutamine, that's typically the first one. Now your next 3 amino acids that are missing are actually in BCAAs.
Okay.
So that's your 4. The 5th one would be beta alanine. And then the last one to me, if you're asking me personally, there's other people who might disagree, would be the creatine, right? So creatine wouldn't be my first choice. It would be like my 3rd or 4th choice. And so preference for me, so sip BCAAs during your workout, take glutamine right after your workout and 30 minutes after your workout, beta alanine like 25 to 30 minutes before your workout, and it gives you that tingly and all that stuff.
Okay.
Well, I need to invest in some glutamine, beta alanine, and
Did you write that down?
I got some things to buy. Take my pen.
No.
But the first one definitely start with glutamine. Dude, they use glutamine. I mean, if you guys read about this, like people who have abuse of alcohol, they use glutamine to cure them. So glutamine will stop you from craving sugar.
What? Really?
Really?
Yeah, dude, if you get a second, just read about it. Like glutamine, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's so crazy that you will see the wildest stuff advertised out there, right? And then the supplements that have the most impact. So if you don't even lift and you take glutamine, you're already like, you're helping your blood sugar levels and your cravings and things like that. But yeah, if you read about what they do when people have alcoholism, just Google the top 10 benefits of glutamine and it will come up with a list, and like they're a consistent list across the board.
God damn, I'm learning so much here. I'm jotting information down.
So you got your note.
I have no more questions. Let's go to the chat box. We got a lot of people over here.
Okay.
And I just want to say real quick, I appreciate all the birthday wishes. Appreciate that. We're going to kind of skim through and try to find questions for Keith here. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate my birthday, but Keith is our man tonight. So Ashley, see anything over here? I don't have my glasses on because I'm old.
So this one's hello, birthday Benchmonster, and hello, Ashley and Keith. Always a great show, and even better with a great guest. Rock on.
Tiny Meeker.
That was from Tiny Meeker, yeah. Thank you, Tiny. Good to see your name in there. Tiny Meeker said, so very true, Keith. The fast road usually ends fast. That must have been earlier when we were talking about... I can't remember.
The new lifter.
Yeah. Yep.
And Rich here is referencing the RSV virus thing.
Absolutely no air. Couldn't even breathe right. Why I was 269 at the Arnold. Oh, did he have that right before the Arnold?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was Rich is usually about 300 to 305. With the RSV, he started dropping weight, so he ended up just cutting the last few pounds to be a middleweight lifter. He ended up weighing at like 269.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He looked bigger than that. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he wasn't. Usually he's a lot larger.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Howard Weingarten has a question for Mr. Odell.
Howard Weingarten. Mr. Odell, are you a heels down or up lifter? And
heels down.
Yep.
Heels down. Okay.
So heels down. I'll explain why. And so Ryan, so funny. Your 680 bench, your raw 680 bench. The way that you set up is the exact way that Rich and I set up. And so when we set up, put our hands on the bar, our feet up on the bench. Yep. We lock our scapula really tight. Yep. We keep all of our weight back on our shoulders. Yep. Okay. We put our feet down and we go feet flat. The reason we go feet flat, it's a good base. You can do that raw back in the day with the other shirts if you were benching 5, 6, maybe 700 pounds. When you get that handoff, it's not crazy. If you take 1,000-pound bench on your toes, it is very difficult to navigate that weight to keep it straight. When your feet are flat and you have all the weight on your shoulders, it takes a half a second to get control of the weight. And so feet flat for me is an always go. Weight on your shoulders, feet flat, and push back.
Okay. And
second part of that question.
Was another part. And in your Fate shirt, do you ever have trouble touching at the last inch? If so, what do you do about it? And thank you.
And so, all right, that's a really loaded question. And so the first thing would be, like we talked about with the setup, when you get close, there is a push up you can do, push back, squeeze your ass cheeks, and try to get up to the bar. Number 2 would be get a shirt that's a tiny bit looser, right? Number 3, because with these shirts, you run into this. How much weight does it take to touch and how much can you push up? Right. You have to find that line. And so if you can handle more weight, when you load the bar, you'll touch. So my big bench shirt, I cannot touch anything under like 930. Right. And so I need to have like 950 pounds on it to be able to touch. And so realistically, it's either your technique needs a little work with pushing up when we call each other in, right? So you start 4, 3, 2, 1, half. When you get half, you push up, right? If you're farther than an inch there, it means you need more weight on the bar. If you can't push that weight up, you need to get a shirt that's a little bit looser. Yep.
You don't do anything like adjust the sleeve at the end of the elbow, pull it up a little bit, or do any of that?
You can, yeah. So, some things you run into. So with these shirts, the higher you pull the sleeve up, the easier it touches, but higher chance of you getting choked.
That's right.
So what we do, pull it up. Like if you're trying to touch, pull it up as high as you can, pull it down really hard, and then put the belt on.
Oh, okay.
Right? Okay. If it's heavier weight, leave it as close to the elbow without covering it. Pull it down real hard and belt it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's tough. But yeah, that's really the best advice I could give. Is maybe something a tiny bit looser, or you work with that shirt and do those reps with that weight. until you're ready for the next weight, and that means you might have to wait. It's that getting there fast thing too. You don't have to. If that means you're not lifting in the meat, well, then don't lift in the meat until you're ready and you can touch in that shirt.
How often do you touch in training in your shirt?
So I use different shirts as I'm working my way up. If it's going to be like a real heavy day, I'll use my green black. It's the Anderson Kennelly material. Okay. I'll wear that the whole time. But if say if I'm going for 6 or 7 reps, I'll wear a different shirt to touch every rep with it.
Okay.
So it really depends on the workout.
Okay.
Yeah. So but I'm doing, say if I'm doing a set of 3 to 5, I have a red black shirt, a little bit looser. I actually wore the Arnold for my 850. Man, that was. I could have benched 1,000 pounds that day. That 850 was so fast. Yeah. Yep. So different shirts for touching.
Okay.
But typically with that red black, that my green black, man, I won't touch that till I get to meat.
Okay.
Because that takes that much weight.
Okay. Howard had one more question here.
Lord Weingarten, also Mr. Odell, I just turned 58 last month and I want 1,000 by my 60th birthday, and I agree about the gym 100%. Thank you, Howard. Good to have ya. Let's see what else.
I just bounced the thing all the way up. Okay.
The tiny one, or let's see.
Brianna Kelly says
Or
it's
no,
at Walmart. I'm assuming that's the olive oil.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Rich commented after her and said, yes, Walmart has
Okay.
it.
That's where we shop, so
There
that or
you go.
Costco.
So would that be...
I'm sure it's
would that
not
be in the
cheap,
same
but it's worth every
aisle
penny.
as, like...
It's not much, dude. My wife does the majority of the shopping,
Right.
but it's like $12 to $15 a bottle.
And it's a big
crazy.
bottle too.
It
Huge.
looks like a big bottle, yeah.
47 ounces, 1.4 liters.
Okay.
Okay.
And you cook with that? Do you pour it on your vegetables? Just drink it like?
Yeah, I'll use it for dressings.
Okay.
I use it for cooking with. I mean, you use it for literally everything, and it's not bad for. I mean, listen, there's a lot of calories in it, right? So 1 tablespoon, 130 calories.
Oh, geez.
So,
oh wow.
if you're looking to drop a bunch of weight, I'd be modest with it. But if you're a guy like me who has trouble keeping weight on, I mean, I go through probably a bottle a month of this.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Davenport Barbell 1984 has a question.
What's your favorite tricep exercises?
We have a new favorite, and this is I was actually just talking to Jimmy Kolb about this today. It's a totally different thing, and so hard to explain, but I'll try to. He just explained it on a podcast, so I hope I'm not stealing his thunder. So he puts a 2-board. So we do it a little different than him because I didn't understand, but this works really well. So he puts a 2-board on his chest. Okay. And then he takes a band. Okay. And he folds it in half, grabs the band. He brings it down to the board, stretches out. And then he brings it back in, but we don't. We stretch it out and then we push up and keep pushing up to lock out.
Just a band around your wrists.
I hold it in my hands.
Okay.
Yeah. So like fold it. I fold it in half. So I'm doing right now. I started with a little yellow band, dude. These are really hard.
They sound hard.
Dude, it was so. I was like, no, this should be cake. And I heard Jimmy talking about the Elite FTS podcast, and so doing those. And the first day we did them, I did 10 of them with the yellow band, the weak yellow band, and I was like, oh man, I'm dying. And so a couple weeks later, got up to red, and now I'm up to the thick black band.
Okay.
And so, but I can see, when you hear something and try it and find that weakness. When I'm doing these, like I always thought my triceps are really strong. Apparently they can get a lot stronger based on this stuff. And so my goal, I mean, it might be a little overzealous, but I'd love to get up those thick purple bands and be able to do it. Like if I can do that, friggin' lock anything out. But yeah. So basically, to explain it one more time, put the board, lay on the bench, put the board on your chest.
Okay.
Kind of, how you have the bands, it's one big circle.
Yes.
We fold them in half and grab it by each end, right?
Yep.
We put it on the board, stretch it out, hold it on the board, and then push up and lock out and try to keep it out.
Oh, fuck.
And then close it bring it back down, do it again. Dude, wild.
Oh. Is this at the end of a workout?
We do this at the very end of our Wednesday bench day, which is our like raw day, a little bit lighter, and then we do that at the very end. Yep.
I'm gonna try that to make great video too, and I definitely want to feel the pain because it doesn't sound easy. I know bands.
Dude, it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah.
So that's your favorite tricep exercise?
That is the new favorite. And before that, I didn't really do much for tricep work because, you know, my lockout's always been super strong.
Very strong.
Like it was an issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you learn they could get stronger?
Rich Putnam says
like
Keith
those?
is a walking book of knowledge with nutrition and supplements. That is true. I've learned a lot here tonight, Keith.
Totally agree.
I could pick your brain for hours beyond this. So
I think we could learn so much.
Travis Cobb says, Keith, long time no see. Glad to see you're doing well, sir.
Travis Cobb.
Travis Cobb.
I helped him with some nutrition stuff. He worked out in Syracuse for the same company as me. Yeah, I remember Travis.
Okay.
Mateo Ramirez says,
what kind of back work do you do for the shirt?
What kind of back work do you do for?
Yeah. So like I was saying earlier during the podcast, probably missed that, but we do 9 sets of 10 for pull downs, 9 sets of those reverse band. Now these are supersets. Like you're not breaking.
Superset.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. So I mean, we have a large group, and so you're typically waiting like 30 seconds to get back in. We get in a line and we rotate through, but we do 3 sets of 10. And then, we do 1 set. So we change the grip. We start with a wide grip, right? 10 reps.
Okay.
Go to the reverse band and pull back. Okay. Right. Go do another set, and then after 3 sets, we back and forth, and then we bring the grip in, right? A little bit. So we have a large, a medium, and a small.
Right.
And we do 3 sets, 3 sets, and 3 sets. In between each set, we're doing those pull downs, and then we bang out shoulders after that.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, it takes all those sets just for back. You're probably 45 minutes, but you're nonstop going at it. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Great conditioning too.
Yeah.
Davenport Barbell 1984 says,
I like to be the guy.
No.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, well, no, it's answering the one below.
Okay, well, that's not the way that
I know.
this works. So
I shouldn't be
I'm going to
reading.
go back
That's
and do
your
it
job.
correct. Thank you. Davenport Barbell 1984. I like to be the guy who asks the question that has already been answered 50,000 times already. So, do you guys like the new Inzer Leviathan?
I don't touch the Leviathan. The last time I deadlift was like 5 years ago. I pulled 600 pounds, and it wasn't in a Leviathan. So, do you guys squat?
I have old school Inzer canvas, and I do not have the new Leviathan with the strings on the side.
Is that what?
I think the one he's referencing, the new.
The one that Lacey had?
Yeah, I've heard good things, and that girl at the Arnold said not good things about it. Though.
Oh, did she?
She could hard to get depth. I don't know.
You guys talking about? Are you just
Lacey?
Talking about Lacey?
Yeah.
Lacey. Yeah. Yep. She had the pink strings on it. Yeah.
Yep.
So we have a guy lives out of our gym, Ben Russo. I think he totaled 2,100. He squat 850. He used a Leviathan. I actually tightened it for him.
Oh, wow.
The nice part about it, man, is that you can adjust it to however you want, right? So for your first set, like really tight in the torso, a little looser in the hips, a little looser in the legs. And as you get heavier, you can tighten each piece up. So the thing that's cool about it is that, you can adjust the suit based on how much you want to lift, which no other suit or bench shirt actually does that.
That's true.
Right? So
that's cool.
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. I mean, I think it's worth a buy.
Okay. All right.
And Howard Weingarten says, thanks for the tricep movement. It sounds hard as hell.
We call them Kolbs
Nice.
because that's all Jimmy. I can't take.
Do we call them
credit for that.
Kolb extensions, Kolb presses? I want to label them correctly so I can talk about them.
I just call them Kolbs.
Kolbs. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jot it down. Well, that was our last question. So yeah.
Name lifts after, or accessory exercises after the lifter that you saw do them.
Yeah,
the same thing he does too.
Howard Weingarten presses. Tate presses. I told Dave Tate that, and now we got Kolbs.
Cool.
And then you got I don't know. We Cokers. Coker had
Jason Coker.
Jason Coker. He had, which is it's skull crushers, then pull throughs, and then presses. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Oh, CJ Margani, have you guys seen the new Overkill band shirt?
Yeah, so Jeff Johnson competed with me at the Olympia with the Overkill band shirt.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
From my understanding, I did listen, Rudy. That's a newer shirt. I'm sure they're still figuring stuff out. I know it's very stiff,
Yeah.
and so it sounds like I don't know a ton. Just what I'm reading off of Jeff is that if you're not like Tony Carlino had it on and couldn't touch with 1,200 pounds yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, it seems like it's pretty good material, but if I was buying one of those, I'd probably just make sure you're getting a loose one because that seems like a really serious, heavy duty black material.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good to know. I've seen one on the internet, not one in person yet. So I have a lot of F8s and Dark Side band shirts in my truck. So I got a king cab extended truck, and the back seat is 3 feet high. I can't even see out the back window with shirts. The bad problem with me, Keith, is I go to the gym and it's max effort bench night, and I open the truck and I'm like, oh, I'll use this shirt tonight. And then the next week I'm like, oh, I'll use this one tonight. I kind of need to stick with one shirt and train in it, and I bounce around too much because I got so many toys. And believe me, I've given away 10 or 12 of them to my training guys. So
yeah, we're the same way, man. There's nothing wrong with swapping shirts and whatever. What I have found now is that a shirt that's not real loose, but a tiny bit looser and using some inserts is very helpful. Some of the feds don't allow them. Listen, man, they made this unlimited, so you should be able to wear whatever the hell you want.
Right.
But wearing those, have you seen some of the inserts? Anderson had some at their booth, that new double ply one. They didn't even name it yet. But you can get a shirt that's not super tight, and you can touch like 700 pounds with it. But then you can put some of these inserts in to increase your bench by wearing them underneath.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yep. So I really have 2 shirts religiously that I use. Yeah.
You stick to a 3-ply band shirt, 4-ply?
Yeah. So my red black is 3-ply, and my big bench shirt is a 4-ply. But the material that 4-ply is, it's the KLA material that's very stretchy.
Oh, okay.
And so realistically, that 4-ply shirt is probably like a 2.5-ply black. It's not. It's really stretchy, but I love it. It feels comfortable because the material isn't like rigid. It's got like a softer feel to it. It actually feels comfortable to be on.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not abrasive and aggressive like some of those materials are.
Yeah.
Okay. Alden has a question. Kind of
after Putnam said cokers are killer.
Cokers are killer.
Alden, Alden, if Keith could go, Alden says, if Keith could go back to being 20 years old, how would he go about his training to hit a massive bench in a few years?
Yeah, it goes back to, man, I talked about this earlier, but listen, showing up to the gym, and, we already went over this, but I'll reiterate it. Showing up to the gym consistently, no matter what, if you show up, have a workout to do, and you do it without trying to kill yourself and take slow and steady progress, you're going to have a massive bench. It's going to take 5 to 10 years. And if you're not willing to wait 5 or 10 years, then just stop lifting, because it's not, you're going to get hurt. It's not going to happen, but it's a marathon, and just being consistent and being smart with what you're doing.
I agree with you.
Absolutely.
It's hard to tell new people when they come into the gym, beginner lifters, that to get it in their head. I mean, because they want that instant gratification. They want it happening.
Everybody
6 months. I'm going to do this, and unfortunately, in powerlifting game, it might take you a couple of years to bench 500 raw, when you're just starting out.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. Nobody has any more questions. Keith is here, and Alden says thank you very much, Keith.
Thank you very much, guys. Keith is an awesome dude. Thank you.
And if there's anybody out there with a nutritional thing, so I have written I can't even explain how many nutritional plans. If anybody out there needs help with anything, they can feel free to reach out. So my wife and I have very good jobs, like really good jobs. We're super blessed, and I enjoy giving back. The only thing I ask is that if somebody asks me a question or they want help with something, they actually follow it, right? If we're spending time
Didn't want to waste your
so,
time.
yeah, but if there's anybody out there, man, who needs help with the nutrition or anything at all, I mean, they can feel free to reach out.
Now, how do people reach
Awesome.
out to you?
Yeah, what's the
Instagram,
best way to get a
Facebook?
hold of you?
Instagram,
Okay.
Facebook. I'm pretty easy to find. But yeah, if they anybody can inbox me. I mean, I am all over my phone because of what I do for work. I'm on it 1,000 times a day, unfortunately. Yep.
Okay. So if you guys have any questions, nutrition or
Rich
lifting
Putnam
wise.
posted something here at the very end. You want to read that?
Okay, well, I was in the middle of a statement.
I'm
But
sorry,
all
I
right, I guess
interrupted
I'm
you.
done with that one.
I just looked down there.
Rich Putnam. Also, work around injuries. There's always something lagging that can get extra work when another body part is hurt. That was
Is that like a muscular
nice, yeah.
imbalance thing sometimes?
Whoa. No, he's just saying that if you're hurt, it doesn't mean, I can't go to the gym. It's, okay, what doesn't hurt to train? What doesn't hurt that body
Well, I
part?
got a hangnail. I don't want to go to the gym today.
Well, because that's how people are
I
these
know, they're
days.
pansies,
It's bad.
man.
If they're not
Yeah,
100%.
what we do in our group too, like if you're hurt, you're still expected to be there to help.
Right.
And in doing
I agree with
so,
you.
like if you're loading the bar, unloading the bar, handing off, whatever, you're getting some sort of work out of them. Like if you're handing off, you're working your traps and your back, right? And so it goes along with showing up. Like no matter what, if there's a scheduled workout, you show up and you do something.
Yep. No, that's really good advice.
I hate people that miss workouts. I do.
Because like you said, there's
I
always
rely on
something.
people. I need 3 people to hand off, a board holder, and I don't thrive off 2 people working out. It's the whole crew, regardless if they're mentioned 225 or 1,000. I mean, the fact that they're pushing 110% in the gym, I fuel off their fire, man. I need that.
Absolutely, dude. 100%. Yeah.
Anything else?
CJ Morgani, thanks, Keith. This was awesome. And enjoy the rest of your birthday, Ryan. Howard Weingarten, thanks for the information and motivation to hit big numbers. Let's Keith. So Mateo Ramirez says, if they mixed a poly and a band shirt layered together, would you try it? Do you think it could work?
We have. It was not good.
Oh, really?
It was not good. So Jimmy Kolb had a shirt that just had, it looked like, from us looking at it, it was a poly collar. It looked like there's a little poly sleeve in the chest. It was not good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we didn't. It's not good.
Yeah, when I think poly, I think like Rage X material, something that doesn't have a lot of stretch in it. So why would you take a band shirt that has rubber band, in it, and then something that doesn't flex? I mean, it just sounds like you're mixing peanut butter and mustard a little bit here. So.
Yeah, it doesn't work. We've tried it. It's not good. Okay. Yeah, it's not great, unfortunately.
It's worth a try, huh? Davenport Barbell 1984. One last question. I just got my bench where I want it, but I feel like a fat pig. Have you guys had experience losing weight and maintaining or gaining strength?
Yep, sure have. So I cut for the Arnold in 2019. I cut 32 pounds in 3 days.
In 3 days?
In 3 days, yeah. Yep. And I didn't lose much. So at the time, raw, I was benching 400 for 8. And after, and like the middle of that water load, I could do 800 for 7. So I only lost about 1 stroke. And that was with the water load. But if we're talking about real losing weight and keeping strength, it is tough because mass does equal strength, right? But if you're a fat slob, it is pretty easy to drop some weight and still maintain that strength from just general feeling. And so, like, to make a quick overview, all of my carbs come from potatoes and rice. My meat, I literally just stick with bison now. ground bison or bison steaks.
Okay.
It's actually better for you than chicken.
Really?
I eat a ton of Greek yogurt for digestion. Oranges for the potassium, the vitamin C. You don't have to worry about the sugar in orange because the fiber negates the insulin issues. 86% dark chocolate, almonds,
Yep.
and I mean that's the majority of what I eat. And people are like, don't you get? I do a lot of eggs, hard boiled eggs and stuff. A lot of people, and a ton of vegetables. Like peppers are my favorite. Some carrots, some spinach, some broccoli. But people are like, don't you get bored of it? I'm like, dude, I love the way it makes me feel, so I enjoy it,
Yeah.
And then I also do, I stick to a pretty strict meal plan, but I do one big cheat meal a week. But if people are people try to go from like eating like a disgusting slob to eating like the healthiest diet in the world, and like that doesn't work. You can't do that. You don't bench 400 to 1,000, and so it's like eat healthy every other day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you also can't eat healthy without meal prepping.
Right.
It's impossible. I have a bunch of tips. We don't have enough show for this. But like,
hey, we can always bring you on again,
yeah,
Keith.
We can always have
we can
you.
do a straight nutritionist show.
Yeah.
There's some meal prep tips that I can give that makes it so simple. Like when I walk into work, everybody's like, you got brown rice, peppers, and bison today, don't you? And I'm like, that's what I've got. There are some great tricks to meal prepping that it's very inexpensive, very easy to bring with you, and you can even eat it cold. So
your Greek yogurt, is that the Faget stuff, or
I do the Oikos 000.
Oikos?
Okay. 000. Yeah, I don't do as long as it's zero sugar. I do it. And Greek yogurt, listen, it's probiotic. So the first thing I wake up in the morning, I eat a Greek yogurt. I drink pure cranberry juice. I do a little piece of 86% dark chocolate. And then I shower and I come out and I do hard boiled eggs. And that gets your stomach like just flowing because like the acid in the orange will help digest. The yogurt's a probiotic. The dark chocolate is also a probiotic, but it's also an anti-inflammatory. And so getting that stuff in your stomach, like your digestive system has all the good bacteria in there first. And then the egg is the most digestive protein outside of whey.
Right.
And so you put the egg in there and now you've got protein floating through your system. It's a good way to start the day.
That chocolate was what percent?
86%.
6% dark chocolate. Okay. Boy, I got a list here.
It's bitter. It's really bitter, but for me, because I don't have a lot of sweets, like so the pure cranberry juice too. Have you ever had that? Not like the ocean spray. This is pure cranberry juice.
Bitter.
You can tell because it only has like 5 grams in it. It's crazy. I can like chug that cranberry juice now, and I could eat a whole stick of the dark chocolate and be like, "Oh man, this tastes great," because you get used to it.
Yeah.
But for the meal stuff, listen, if you want to lose weight and feel good, you're not going to be able to stick to a full-fledged meal plan, especially if you've been eating like a slob for a long time. So the rule of thumb really is go try every other day. Like I'm going to eat healthy Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And just start with that. And then eat your McDonald's, whatever your garbage is in between that. And then if you can go for that way for 6 months, you're half healthier than you were before.
That's a good point. Right?
Yeah. That's really good.
Yep. And then as time goes on, it's like, all right, I got through this 6 months. You have confidence. Now, maybe I can go every 2 days and then do a cheat day. Right. And so for myself, I do one cheat day. After a meet, I'll eat like a disgusting slob for like a week or two. Because it's like you earned it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the cheat days make you stronger. Like I believe if you had 2 big, like nasty cheat meals a week and then ate really healthy in between, to me, that feels like the perfect balance. Because you do need some of that garbage food. For one, your system needs to have it in it, but your body's also being made aware like this stuff is out there. And it does grab onto your muscle and your fat cells. You ever lose a lot of weight and you start eating and your muscles get pumped up. Same idea.
DJ Morgani has a cool question. I have an experience with this stuff, and it wasn't a good one, but read it.
Does tart cherry juice make a good anti-inflammatory?
So I use that to make sure that any unwanted bacteria is not in my system. Anti-inflammatory, I don't think so. I mean, it could be. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure, but I use it because it's really well known to keep like your kidneys and your bladder clean. Like if like a female has like a UTI, they say drink cranberry juice. Well, that pure cranberry juice is very good for cleaning your system out of any unwanted bacteria. Anti-inflammatory, I use my extra virgin olive oil, and dark chocolate, and I mean there's a bunch of other stuff, vitamin K2, but I don't. It could be.
Yeah,
It
I
could
don't
be.
know.
Cherry juice. I've never heard of cherry juice.
It's good for
being-
like cleaning your
I
stomach.
know cherry juice.
I
I know cherry juice is. He's saying cherry juice.
Cherry.
Cherry.
cherry
Oh, cherry.
juice.
I thought he was talking about cranberry. Cherry juice I know is good for blood pressure, which could be. Let's see what Google says.
It made me poop my pants once,
He
and that's a
literally
different
pooped
story.
his pants. We
Yeah.
won't go.
We won't go there.
So we know it's good for.
It's good for,
which
like-
that's why we had it. with
Yeah, cleaning your bowels
Cleaning
out.
your stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tart cherry juice contains properties that are good for anti-inflammatory.
Oh.
The only thing about cherry is that, cherry does have a load of sugar, and I'm sure tart cherry has less sugar. But I'm not sure how much over antioxidant inflammation. Yeah, I would probably never use it just because what I'm doing does work.
Right.
But I haven't researched that enough, and I won't say it's good or bad just because I don't know.
Okay.
Always try something and see if it works or not.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, when I read about something, you read about it, it affects other people's, but not everything is going to work the same for everyone.
Right.
Like training diet, Rich and I train actually two totally different ways. Like he's very aggressive in going after it. I'm very reserved. Diet too, and supplements. Like some people will be like, "Oh, I love that supplement. It does a lot for me," and I'll be like, "Dude, it does nothing for me," And so that's why I really believe in introducing. Be consistent, and then when you introduce something, you can see how it affects you. Like if I added tart cherry juice to my diet, I would want to see how I felt on that, right? And check blood work and all of this stuff. Same with supplements and all those things. So, the best advice is, sometimes people are funny though. They'll eat garbage like McDonald's, pizza, Burger King, blah blah blah, and then they'll be like, "Oh, dude, like I have to take this supplement." Really, you're more of an idiot because for your diet has to be, if you're worried about like some of these small things, your diet has to be perfect for you to be concerned about that supplement.
Right.
I'm curious about the green tea. That's going to be the first thing I introduce into my diet, and I don't want to see how I feel on that. And then the olive oil will be right behind that, of course.
Only advice with green tea: don't drink it on an empty stomach; it'll make you puke.
Oh.
Yep.
Really?
No empty stomach green tea. Yeah.
Why is
there's
that?
There's something I don't remember what it is, but there's something in green tea that actually on an empty stomach it'll make you puke. And so it's actually strange because like drinking green tea isn't super hard on the stomach. Like if you drink green tea, you're not going to get inflammation. But there's something in it that when it hits your intestines, it literally just makes you puke.
Sure.
I've experienced it
Okay.
myself.
Thank you for that advice.
Yeah, good to know because I would not have known that.
Don't
Would
drink
have
on
had to
empty
learn
stomach.
that the hard way. Scott Mendelson, so Davenport Barbell, 1984. Scott Mendelson requested you talk about his greatness.
I already did.
Yeah, he's a great lifter.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
You missed it.
Did you miss this?
I talked about Scott at Bench America. I think it was an 802 bench.
He competed against Rich Lack there, didn't he?
Boy, I don't remember. He may have.
I think so because I remember them taking a picture, shaking hands. And
yes, you're right.
Yeah.
They were. Yes, you're right. They did. Yeah, I remember the way they were announcing it was like that. That 800 pounds was like 10 bags of concrete.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
Yeah, and he, I think he did that in like a Karen's denim shirt.
Denim. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. No, Scott, we already talked about your greatness.
Yeah. Alden has a question.
What are Keith's biggest raw benches, and does he have any plans on going for any raw bench records?
No, so my best, I don't max out raw. It seems like anytime I try to go too heavy and get overzealous with raw, I did 500 for a pretty easy triple. It's on
Nice.
my Instagram.
Wow.
It's on my Instagram. So we do this thing called swingers. This is really hard to explain too, but we hang the straps on monolift.
Yes.
We hang them, and then we lay on a bench, and we swing it out, and then we bring it back in. We catch it and push up. And I think with that, I did like 500 for 3 sets of 5, which I mean that's only like that far from your chest.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm too old to chase raw records or anything like that, man. And really, I enjoy the gear. I enjoy the heavyweight. I enjoy the technical part of it. There's a lot of great raw benchers out there. I think it's awesome, but I feel like every time I try to go raw, I don't get like really hurt, but you can tell.
You're risking injury going
Right.
for all out 1 rep max raw.
Yeah.
I mean, any technical flair, I mean, I don't do it. I mean, but yeah. Raw bench records, huh?
Yeah.
Any idea if Julius Maddox is going for 800 this year?
Yeah,
I mean, that's a
haven't
different
heard.
topic, but
Man, it seems like he's been quiet,
Yeah.
So I think it was his 785. I was right there for it. It was very clean. People
Yeah.
were talking about some guy touching the weight or whatever.
Right.
You were there too, Ryan.
Yeah,
you were there for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you guys were there.
at the Arnold, yeah,
Arnold
775.
2020, yeah.
Yeah, it's 775 or 785. That was very clean. And then, dude, when I thought he was going to hit 800, they misloaded that bar.
Yeah.
He trained for like
That's
6 months
such
for that.
bullshit.
I know his shoulder was messed up. And I somebody else might be able to comment. I know Rich had mentioned something about him training for 800 again, but I mean, listen, it was 775 or 785 he did.
He did 786 at a meet, I think.
786.
Yeah,
I mean,
easy.
listen, dude,
Like,
that guy's close enough. Now there's that. I think he's that Bulgarian guy or whatever,
Zamani.
dude.
But they've been questioning his lifts and the legitimacy.
Are they? Yeah.
Because he won't do a meet and he won't, I don't know. But I would like to see those two guys go head to head. That would have been cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be
Can you
awesome.
imagine?
I mean, I think Julius was ready for that 800 when they misloaded it, man.
I agree.
And a really, really unfortunate. But
So shitty.
I mean, every time Rich goes up to lift and I'm spotting him, I count the plates and look at him. So, although the guy's loading it, but I mean, our handlers make sure that we're good. So
Yeah, you're 50 pounds off of one side. It's a jolting freaking
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, it sure is.
Well, I was
Yeah.
hoping to see Julius at the Arnold, and I was going to ask him that question, and I didn't
know.
see him. So
No, we didn't see him.
I didn't see him there either. No.
Alden has a question here. Ashley?
Does Keith or Ryan know Eric Spoto personally or what he's been up to?
I've been asking about him a little bit, and he, Stan Efferdine told me something 3 years ago, because Eric's tore his rotator cuff, and I guess he had it fixed, and then Efferdine told me that Eric, when he gets up to 600, everything's fine, but anything over that, he gets scared to death. So I don't know if he's still benching. Maybe his arm, I don't know. I don't know what he's up to personally, but we'll track him down.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't either. I know Spoto was a freaking monster, man.
Did you see him in real life?
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
He is a freaking monster.
Like 20
had
inch forearms and stuff. Like,
Yeah, they had him come out. I don't know if it was like a USPA meet or something. He didn't lift, but he came out as like a guest. Dude, that guy was like, you see people on video.
Yeah.
He is a freaking monster.
no kidding.
Yeah.
DJ Morgani says, reach out to Brandon Allen. He's still in contact with Eric. Well, I'd reach out to Stan Efferdine. I believe he has his phone number, so I can call Eric up and say hi. I've never met him personally, but
No.
I don't know when we'll be in Vegas next or anything. But
Is that where he's from?
yeah,
Vegas?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, no more questions?
No?
No?
Was there anything that didn't get brought up that you would like to share? Or
I would be here with you guys until 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we might have to do
like
another
I said,
show
we can
where we
love
just
to
talk
do
about
a
straight
part
nutrition
two where we
and
make it more nutrition
Yeah.
based and
meal
since you have
planning,
that
diet.
background.
This is stuff that I didn't know a lot about.
We don't know much.
So,
about
and you're
that.
just scratching the surface on some of that stuff. So,
Yeah, and it's what I love, and I mean, just overall health. A lot of my sales reps and stuff. The one biggest thing, man, is saving money. And so, $30 a day is $10,000 a year. And so when people go out, they get a pack of cigarettes, a couple energy drinks, buying lunch, so on and so forth. Turns out to 10 grand a year. Imagine what you could do with that money. When you're meal prepping, you're saving so much money, and you feel so much better, and then life just starts to progress.
Right.
yeah, definitely.
Totally.
You eat garbage, you kind of feel like garbage. I know I eat
Yeah,
McDonald's
it's
quite
totally
often,
true.
but you put cleaner foods in your body and vegetables and
And then when
healthy
you go
stuff.
back and put the shitty food in
You
there
feel
after
like
you've
depressed.
gotten used to
Like, I can see why America's
you
hooked on
just
this
feel
shit.
so much
Yeah.
worse and you're very
Fat and
I
lazy.
believe, to end this one, I believe, like, so when you're seeing, these kids shooting up schools and like all of this crazy stuff
Yep.
going on, because I really believe it's from what they're putting in their body food wise. Like, I really do. There is a direct correlation between serotonin, dopamine, and all of the things that we're putting into our body are so toxic. The brains are not functioning the right way, and you mix that up with being in our phones and our tablets and all that stuff for so long. I truly believe that the fix to most of our issues would be people being on a better diet.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, that's food for thought, literally.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Excuse me.
But, no, it's a good point.
Yeah, Keith, we're going to have to be in touch again and definitely plan another episode and
For sure.
make it all nutrition and just give you the mic, man. And we'll come up with some questions, a little help from you.
Totally, yeah.
And
There's a lot of things.
this is a lot of the info I think that people can benefit from, and let people take that next step in their life and see if they want to make a change and put better things in their body. I think if they actually followed what you're talking about, I mean, it's night and day. It's like it's a no-brainer because I've eaten clean before, and I know how I felt when I went from 330 down to 275 and had veins the size of night crawlers on my arms, and I felt awesome. I had energy But when getting ready for this Arnold, it's pizza, DiGiorno stuffed crust, and dipped in ranch.
Arnold,
Oh fuck!
Pig.
What's that other one? Chicken pot pie, Marie Callender's.
Yeah, Marie Callender's chicken pot pie.
I came out there just a heart attack waiting to happen. So it may have looked big, but it wasn't healthy. So
Not at all. Not at all.
Alden says, "Thank you very much, guys. I learned a lot from Keith."
Very nice.
You're welcome.
Very cool.
Glad everybody enjoyed this.
Yeah, no, it went really good. It was really good. Thank you for taking
Oh,
the
thank you,
time.
guys.
It was awesome to get to sit down and.
I know it's like probably 12 o'clock where you're
I
at,
know,
and I
I'm
feel bad.
sorry. I know.
12, 11. The good news is I barely sleep ever because I eat healthy, and like I'm typically like asleep at 11 and up at like 5.
Okay.
Oh,
Feel
really?
good, so.
Well, thanks
Oh,
for
that's
sticking with us
nice.
through the show,
Well,
Keith.
yeah, and hopefully you guys keep doing this because listen, I've watched the majority of the episodes, and again, you guys are getting a pretty good amount of views, and I think it's going to keep growing, just because the stuff that you put out there is beneficial for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We probably
appreciate
need to add
that.
things to our questions here a little bit, make them a little bit more fun. But it's just the basic gist of what we want to know from people, and that's why I'm always open. Like if there's anything you want to talk about, just let us
Yeah.
know. We'll add it to the questions and keep it fun, man. So
For sure,
Yeah.
guys.
well, thank you,
I appreciate
Keith.
you very much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good
so
night.
much.
I'll
This
be
was really
getting a
fun.
hold of you, direct message on Instagram or something, and talk about some supplement things for my health and stuff because
Yeah.
I know you're deep into that. So
Yeah. No.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
guys,
40. I
for
just turned
sure.
49 today, so not getting any younger here. Definitely need to take care of the old ticker and
Getting
the liver and all
closer.
that good stuff, and
Zero.
put better things in my body. I mean, when you're 20, 25, you can eat McDonald's every day and still have a six pack, but get in your
At
40s, man.
50,
Hey, don't say
Yep.
50, damn it.
dude, you're I mean,
Shit.
you're pretty
That-
close.
Coming out to the Arnold
I
next
say
year complaining about my
49.
50. So I'm just going to take care of the body, man. Train smart and probably do the shirt every other week like you do. I'm finding that every week is just too much for my body to recover from. And my shitty diet. I mean, I got a lot of things to switch up, and I learned a lot here tonight. And I want to thank you. And I got a lot of notes here that are going to the grocery store with
Got
me.
a page of list or
Yeah.
a list of notes.
Yeah, I want to feel better. I want to feel good and be energetic and have CNS recovery
Feel
and
better.
be able to lift and move forward. And I just feel like I'm in a rowboat with one oar going in circles. And we're just doing too much and I'm not training smart, but I'm going to switch things up. And
dude, Brian, you still got, I mean, dude, look at the size of you. And I mean, you've been at this for a while, but you've got a couple big lifts left there.
Thank you. I like to think I do up here. Yeah. Find out if the body's capable of it, holding up. But yeah, that's what I go to the gym for. Every max effort bench day is to better myself. And sometimes, I've said it retired the first of the year, but if my body's willing and I feel good and I can do something that's respectable and I know it won't be 1350 or 1400, but I'll damn well try to do the best I can at whatever body weight I'm at. So
absolutely, man.
Well, Keith, thank you, man. And
thank you guys.
Thanks for being on the show. We appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no, this was really fun.
This is
very educational. And definitely have to have you come back for a part 2 that's more targeted on nutrition and maybe some not tips and tricks. I know, I'm not,
this guy's a
diet. I don't mean diet tricks, but just
this guy's a fountain of information. We got to get him out there to our audience, and this can benefit everybody. I don't care who's in the chat box or who's listening, but everybody can benefit from what you're talking about.
Oh yeah,
at any age.
Benefit from getting healthier and feeling better. For sure.
All right, Keith.
Well, thank you so much. This was really good. And we look forward
Absolutely.
to the next
Good seeing you guys.
Good
Yeah, very good to see you.
All right.
See you, Keith.
And happy birthday, Ryan.
Thank
you got out there, you got an hour and a half left.
Yeah. She's supposed to buy me dinner. So
it's over at midnight. Yeah, we're supposed to go to dinner.
Might be tomorrow.
We'll go to dinner and get the heck out of here.
There's not gonna be too much places open even here, but
we'll figure out something. If
I
gotta cook a steak, I'm down with that too. So
we should make it so you don't have to cook. But,
okay.
But anywho.
All right, Keith.
Thank you.
And everybody joining the show. Wish everybody
thank you guys
a great
for
weekend.
Joining us and have a great weekend and a great week next week. And we look forward to seeing everybody next week.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Keith.
Good night,
it was
Keith.
good seeing you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a great night.